Once upon a time, in the heart of the kingdom of Aurelia, there was a mysterious forest known as the Starlit Grove. Unlike any other forest, the trees of Starlit Grove sparkled with tiny, star-like lights that glimmered even in the day. The villagers believed that the grove was enchanted, but no one knew the true secret behind its magic. In the nearby village of Willowbrook lived a curious and kind-hearted girl named Eloan. Eloan had always been fascinated by the Starlit Grove and dreamed of uncovering its secret. The villagers, however, were wary of the grove, for they had heard stories of travelers who had ventured in and never returned. One evening, as the sun set and the stars began to twinkle, Eloan noticed a particularly bright star in the sky that seemed to be beckoning her. She decided that this was her chance to explore the grove and discover its mystery. Armed with a lantern, a map, and a small bag of supplies, she ventured into the forest just as the first stars began to appear. The entrance to the Starlit Grove was a grand archway of intertwined branches that shimmered with soft light. As Eloan stepped through, the grove welcomed her with a warm, twinkling glow. The path ahead was lined with glowing flowers and whispering leaves that seemed to guide her deeper into the forest. Her first challenge was a sparkling river that flowed with water like liquid starlight. A graceful water nymph named Leora appeared, floating above the river. To pass, Leora said with a melodious voice, "You must solve this riddle. I can be cracked, made, told, and played." "What am I?" Eloan thought for a moment and answered confidently, "A joke." Leora smiled and created a path of floating lily pads across the river, allowing Eloan to continue her journey. As Eloan crossed the river, she came upon a clearing where a majestic, ancient oak tree stood at its center. The tree was surrounded by a circle of luminous mushrooms. Beneath the tree sat an old, wise tortoise named Orin. To proceed, Orin said, "You must prove your understanding of true courage. Answer this question: what is the one thing you can give that will never diminish and grows only when shared?" Eloan thought deeply and answered, "Love." Orin nodded approvingly, and the mushrooms glowed brighter, revealing a hidden pathway that led Eloan deeper into the grove. The path eventually led Eloan to a grand, moonlit glade where the air was filled with the sweet scent of night-blooming flowers. At the center of the glade stood a grand pedestal with an ornate, silver chest resting upon it. As Eloan approached, the chest began to glow with a soft, inviting light. Suddenly, a celestial figure emerged from the shadows, a beautiful fairy with wings that sparkled like the night sky. She was the guardian of the Starlit Grove, named Seraphina. To uncover the secret of the Starlit Grove, Seraphina said, "You must answer one final question. What is the one thing that everyone can give, yet it is always free and never taken away?" Eloan thought hard and then said, "A smile." Seraphina smiled warmly and opened the silver chest. Inside was a radiant, star-shaped gem that seemed to pulse with the heartbeat of the grove. Seraphina explained that this gem was the source of the grove's magic. It held the essence of hope and joy, which gave the grove its enchanting glow. The true secret of the Starlit Grove, Seraphina said, is that its magic comes from the happiness and kindness shared by those who visit. Your heart has shown that you understand this. Eloan was honored to learn the secret and was entrusted with a small, glowing fragment of the star-shaped gem. She returned to Willowbrook with a heart full of joy and a story to share. The villagers, inspired by Eloan's bravery in the grove's magic, began to visit the Starlit Grove more often, spreading kindness and happiness. The grove continued to shine brightly, and its magic flourished as the villagers embraced the true spirit of its enchantment. Eloan's tale became a beloved legend in Willowbrook, a reminder of the power of kindness and the magic that exists when hearts are filled with love. And so, the Starlit Grove remained a beacon of light and joy in the kingdom of Aurelia, and Eloan lived happily ever after, cherished for her courage and the happiness she brought to her village. In a coastal village named Seabreeze, where the ocean waves whispered tales of old, there stood a grand lighthouse on a rocky cliff. The lighthouse had guided countless sailors safely to shore with its bright, steady beam. The keeper of this lighthouse was a kind old man named Elias, who had dedicated his life to ensuring the light never went out. Elias was beloved by the villagers, who would often bring him gifts of fresh bread and stories from the sea. But there was one thing Elias cherished above all else, a mysterious, ancient compass he had inherited from his grandfather. The compass was not an ordinary one, it had a golden arrow that always pointed to the heart's deepest desire. The great storm one day, a great storm rolled in, fierce and wild. The sea roared, and the wind howled, tossing ships like toys. The villagers of Seabreeze huddled in their homes, fearful for their loved ones at sea. Elias stood at the top of the lighthouse, his heart heavy with worry. The storm raged on, and the lighthouse beam struggled to cut through the darkness. As he peered through the rain, Elias noticed that the light was dimming. The storm had damaged the lantern, and the flame was about to go out. The quest for the flame, knowing that without the light, the ships would be lost, Elias decided to make a daring journey to retrieve a special flame from the legendary Firefall Falls, a magical place said to have a never-ending flame. Elias packed a small satchel with supplies and took the ancient compass. The compass's golden arrow pointed steadfastly toward the north, guiding him through the stormy night. The challenges Elias braved the stormy sea in a sturdy boat, using his compass to navigate through the raging waters. Along his journey, he faced several challenges. 1. The rocky passage. Elias had to steer through a treacherous rocky passage where giant waves crashed against the cliffs. He used his knowledge of the sea and the compass to find the safest route. 2. The mischievous merfolk. In the midst of the storm, Elias encountered a group of mischievous merfolk who tried to lead him astray with their enchanting songs. Elias remembered the stories his grandfather had told him and sang a heartfelt song of his own, which calmed the merfolk and earned their respect. 3. The dark forest. Upon reaching the shore, Elias had to cross a dark forest where the trees whispered haunting sounds. The compass's golden arrow guided him through the forest, and he used his lantern to light the way. The Firefall Falls. After a long and arduous journey, Elias finally reached the Firefall Falls. The sight was breathtaking. Flames cascaded down the rocks like a waterfall of fire, and the air was warm and comforting. Elias carefully collected a small portion of the magical flame into a vial, ensuring it was securely contained. The return with the vial in hand, Elias made his way back to the lighthouse. The storm was still raging, but his determination was unwavering. He navigated through the rocky passage, resisted the merfolk's tricks, and crossed the dark forest. As he reached the lighthouse, he saw that the beam was nearly out. With great care, Elias added the magical flame to the lantern. The moment the flame touched the lantern, it blazed brightly, cutting through the storm's darkness like a beacon of hope. The dawn. The ships at sea, guided by the renewed light, safely found their way to shore. As the storm subsided, the villagers emerged from their homes, cheering for Elias and the safety of their loved ones. The villagers threw a grand celebration in Elias's honor. The ancient compass, which had guided him through the storm, was placed in a special spot in the lighthouse, where it continued to point toward the heart's deepest desires. The legacy from that day on, the lighthouse was known not just for its guiding light, but also for the courage and selflessness of its keeper. Elias continued to care for the lighthouse with the same dedication, and his story was told to every child in Seabreeze. And whenever the villagers faced their own storms, they would remember Elias's bravery and the magical flame that had saved their lives. The golden arrow of the ancient compass was a reminder that even in the darkest times, hope and courage could light the way. Once upon a time, in a kingdom where the mountains brushed against the sky and the forests whispered ancient secrets, there was a hidden glade known only to a few. This glade housed a pond of extraordinary beauty, shimmering under the moonlight like liquid silver. It was said that the pond had magical properties and could grant a single wish to anyone pure of heart who visited it under the full moon. In the nearby village of Meadowbrook lived a young girl named Mira. Mira was known for her kindness and bravery, qualities that shone through in everything she did. She lived with her grandmother, who had raised her with tales of the moonlit pond. As the full moon approached, Mira decided to seek out the pond and make a wish, to bring happiness to her village, which had fallen on hard times due to a long drought. One night, under the glow of the full moon, Mira set out on her quest. She followed a winding path through the forest, guided by the light of the moon and the twinkling stars. After hours of walking, She finally arrived at the moonlit pond. Its waters gleamed like a mirror, reflecting the silvery light of the moon. Mira took a deep breath and knelt by the edge of the pond. She closed her eyes and made her wish. I wish for rain to fall on Meadowbrook, so that our fields may be green and our village may prosper. As soon as she spoke, the waters of the pond began to shimmer more brightly, and a soft voice spoke from within the ripples. Your wish is noble, and your heart is pure. But to grant this wish, you must prove your courage. Mira opened her eyes to see a gentle figure rising from the pond, a guardian spirit with shimmering wings and a gown of moonlight. The guardian's eyes sparkled like stars, and her voice was as soothing as a lullaby. Prove your courage? Mira asked, her heart racing with both excitement and fear. Yes, the guardian replied. Beyond this pond lies a dark forest. Within it is a crystal that holds the power to summon the rain. You must retrieve this crystal and bring it back to the pond. Mira nodded, determined to help her village. She took a lantern and ventured into the dark forest, where shadows danced and eerie noises filled the air. The forest seemed to close in around her, but Mira pressed on, guided by the faint glow of her lantern. After what felt like hours, Mira found herself at the heart of the forest, where a towering tree stood. Its branches twisted into strange shapes, and at its base was a small, hidden door. She pushed the door open and stepped into a cavernous space filled with the soft, golden light of the crystal. The crystal was perched on a pedestal in the center of the cavern, glowing with a warmth that made Mira's heart swell with hope. But just as she reached for it, a dark figure emerged from the shadows, a creature with glowing red eyes and sharp claws. It was a forest guardian, tasked with protecting the crystal. Mira took a deep breath, her bravery overcoming her fear. She spoke softly but firmly, I come not to take, but to return with what I need to save my village. The forest guardian hesitated, and Mira continued, my village is in desperate need of rain. I asked not for myself but for them. The guardian's eyes softened as it listened. With a low growl, it stepped aside, allowing Mira to take the crystal. She thanked the guardian and hurried back to the moonlit pond. As she returned to the pond, the guardian's spirit appeared again, her face radiant with approval. Mira placed the crystal on the surface of the water. Instantly, the pond began to bubble, and a gentle rain began to fall, spreading across the sky and soaking the dry earth of Meadowbrook. Mira returned home to find her village transformed. The fields were green, the wells were full, and the people were joyous. Mira's heart swelled with pride and happiness. She knew her village would thrive once more, and it was all thanks to the magic of the moonlit pond and her own bravery. And so, under the soft glow of the moon, Mira's wish had come true. The village of Meadowbrook flourished, and Mira became a legend, known for her courage and kindness. The moonlit pond continued to shimmer under the night sky, a beacon of hope and magic for all who believed in its wonders. Once upon a time, in the heart of a lush and vibrant forest, there was a small village named Greendale. The village was known for its enchanting beauty, with blooming flowers, towering trees, and a river that sang melodies as it flowed. The villagers were kind-hearted and lived in harmony with nature, guided by the wisdom of their beloved elder, Eamon. In this village lived a curious and spirited girl named Ilara. Ilara had a head full of dreams and a heart filled with wonder. She spent her days exploring the forest, befriending animals, and listening to Eamon's tales of magic and adventure. Her greatest dream was to find the legendary Crystal of Light, a gem said to possess the power to bring eternal peace and prosperity to Greendale. One evening, as the sun dipped below the horizon, casting a golden glow over the village, Ilara approached Eamon with a question that had been burning in her heart. Eamon, do you believe the Crystal of Light truly exists? She asked, her eyes wide with hope. Eamon, with his long white beard and gentle smile, nodded. Indeed, Ilara. The Crystal of Light is real, but it is hidden deep within the Whispering Woods, guarded by ancient magic and creatures. Only the purest of heart can find it. Determined to help her village, Ilara decided to embark on a journey to find the Crystal of Light. Early the next morning, she set off into the forest with nothing but a small satchel of provisions and her unwavering spirit. As Elara ventured deeper into the whispering woods, the trees seemed to close in around her, their leaves whispering secrets and shadows dancing in the dappled sunlight. She followed a narrow path, guided by a sense of destiny. Along the way, she encountered various creatures, wise owls, playful squirrels, and even a mischievous fox who tried to lead her astray. After days of traveling, Elara came upon a shimmering lake, its surface reflecting the stars that had begun to appear in the twilight sky. At the center of the lake stood a small island, bathed in a soft, otherworldly glow. Elara knew that this must be where the crystal of light was hidden. But as she approached the lake, a figure emerged from the water, a beautiful water nymph with flowing hair and eyes like sapphires. "Who dares to seek the crystal of light?" the nymph asked, her voice as smooth as the lake's surface. "It is I, Elara of Greendale," Elara replied, her voice steady despite her awe. "I seek the crystal to bring peace and prosperity to my village." The nymph's gaze softened. "To claim the crystal, you must prove your purity of heart. You must complete 3 tasks, each more challenging than the last." Elara nodded, ready for the challenge. "For your first task," the nymph said, "you must retrieve the feather of truth from the wise owl who lives in the tallest tree in the forest." Elara set off immediately, her determination unwavering. She climbed the tallest tree, its branches reaching high into the sky, and found the wise owl perched at the very top. "Wise owl," she called, "I seek the feather of truth. Will you grant it to me?" The owl blinked its large eyes and studied Elara. "To receive the feather of truth, you must answer a riddle. What is the one thing that can never be stolen but is freely given?" Elara thought for a moment, then replied, "Love. It can never be stolen but is freely given from the heart." The owl nodded in approval and handed her a single, luminous feather. Elara thanked the owl and carefully tucked the feather into her satchel. When Elara returned to the lake, the nymph appeared once more. "You have completed the first task. For the second, you must bring me the tear of joy from the laughing brook." Elara followed the sound of laughter through the forest until she reached the laughing brook, a stream that giggled and bubbled over rocks and pebbles. She sat by the brook, recalling the happiest moments of her life, playing with friends, the kindness of her parents, and the wisdom of Amen. As she smiled, a single tear of pure joy fell from her eye and into the brook. The water shimmered and a tiny vial appeared, filled with the tear of joy. With the vial in hand, Elara returned to the lake. The nymph smiled warmly. "You have completed the second task. For the final task, you must light the beacon of hope at the top of Mount Radiance." The climb to Mount Radiance was steep and arduous, but Elara pressed on, driven by her love for Greendale. As she reached the summit, she found a great torch, unlit and cold. She closed her eyes, focusing on the love and hope she carried within her. To her amazement, the torch ignited with a brilliant flame, casting a warm glow over the land. Elara hurried back to the lake, where the nymph awaited her. "You have proven your purity of heart," the nymph said, her voice filled with admiration. "The crystal of light is yours." With a wave of her hand, the nymph revealed a crystal, radiant and pulsating with light. Elara took it reverently, feeling its warmth and power. She thanked the nymph and made her way back to Greendale. When Elara returned to her village, the crystal of light in hand, the villagers gathered in awe. As she placed the crystal in the center of the village, a brilliant light enveloped Greendale, bringing peace, prosperity, and eternal harmony. From that day on, Greendale flourished like never before. Elara's bravery and pure heart became legendary, inspiring generations to come. And so, the kingdom of Greendale lived happily ever after, under the watchful glow of the crystal of light. Once upon a time, in a tranquil valley surrounded by majestic mountains and lush forests, there was a hidden village known as Greenleaf. This village was famous for its harmony with nature and its enchanted garden, which was said to hold the secret to eternal spring. In Greenleaf lived a young woman named Lily, known for her deep love of nature and her ability to make flowers bloom with just a touch. Every day, she tended to the enchanted garden, ensuring that its magical beauty was preserved. Despite her content life, Lily longed to discover the true secret behind the garden's eternal spring. One day, while exploring the farthest corner of the garden, Lily found an ancient, intricately carved stone hidden beneath a blanket of ivy. The stone had an inscription that read, "To find the heart of spring, one must seek the lost bloom and prove their heart's true worth." Intrigued, Lily decided to embark on a journey to uncover the heart of spring, which she believed was the key to understanding the garden's magic. She packed a small satchel with provisions and set out on her quest, guided by the cryptic message. Lily's journey took her through enchanted forests and over rolling hills. Along the way, she encountered various magical creatures, a wise old owl who shared valuable advice, a mischievous sprite who played tricks on her, and a gentle deer who offered her guidance through the dense woods. One evening, as the sun set and the sky turned a brilliant orange, Lily arrived at a shimmering lake. At its center was an island covered in beautiful, glowing flowers. On the island stood a magnificent tree, its branches adorned with twinkling lights. Lily felt a sense of wonder and knew she had reached a crucial part of her journey. However, the way to the island was guarded by a riddle-spouting fox. The fox, with its golden fur and sharp eyes, looked at Lily and said, "To cross the waters and reach the heart of spring, you must answer my riddle. Only then will the path be revealed." Lily nodded, ready for the challenge. The fox posed the riddle, "I speak without a mouth and hear without ears. I have no body, but I come alive with the wind. What am I?" Lily pondered the riddle carefully. After a moment, she replied, "An echo." The fox's eyes sparkled with approval. "You have answered correctly. The path is now open." With a graceful wave of its tail, the fox vanished, and a path of glowing stones appeared, leading Lily across the lake. As she walked along the path, she felt the magic of the heart of spring drawing nearer. When she reached the island, Lily approached the magnificent tree. At its base, nestled among the roots, was a single, radiant flower. It was unlike any she had ever seen, its petals shimmered with all the colors of the rainbow, and its center glowed with a warm, golden light. This was the lost bloom, the heart of spring. As Lily reached out to touch the flower, a gentle voice spoke from the tree. "To truly understand the magic of the heart of spring, you must prove your heart's worth. Show me the kindness and love you have for the world." Lily closed her eyes and thought about all the creatures she had met and the beauty she had witnessed on her journey. She remembered the joy she found in helping others and the love she had for her enchanted garden. With a heartfelt promise, she said, "I wish for the heart of spring to bring joy and harmony to all who seek its magic." The flower's light grew brighter, enveloping Lily in a warm, golden glow. The tree's branches swayed gently, and a soft, melodious hum filled the air. Lily felt a profound sense of peace and connection to the world around her. The tree's voice echoed softly, "Your heart's true worth is shown in your selflessness and love. The magic of the heart of spring shall now return with you, bringing eternal spring and harmony to Greenleaf." Lily returned to her village with the heart of spring, and the enchanted garden bloomed more vibrantly than ever before. The magic of the garden spread throughout Greenleaf, filling the village with joy and prosperity. The villagers celebrated Lily's bravery and kindness, and her story became a cherished legend in Greenleaf. The enchanted garden continued to flourish, and the heart of spring's magic remained a symbol of love and harmony for generations to come. And so, Lily and the people of Greenleaf lived happily ever after, surrounded by the eternal beauty of their enchanted garden. And they all lived happily ever after. Once upon a time, in a kingdom where the sky shimmered with countless stars every night, there was a small village named Starlight. The villagers of Starlight were known for their wisdom and their deep connection to the night sky, which they believed was filled with magic and wonder. In this village lived a young boy named Finn. Finn had always been fascinated by the stars. Every evening, he would lie on the grass and gaze up at the night sky, dreaming of adventures beyond the village. One evening, as Finn was stargazing, he noticed a single star that seemed to shine brighter than the others. It twinkled with a mesmerizing, golden light. Finn was so entranced by its brilliance that he lost track of time. Suddenly, the star began to descend slowly, landing gently in front of him. To Finn's astonishment, the star transformed into a tiny, radiant figure, a fairy with delicate wings that glowed like the night sky. She introduced herself as Lyra, the Star Fairy. "Greetings, Finn. I've come to seek your help," she said with a voice like a soft chime. Finn, wide-eyed with excitement, asked, "How can I help you, Lyra?" Lyra explained that she was on a quest to find the Starry Compass, a magical artifact that had been lost for centuries. The Starry Compass was said to have the power to guide anyone to their heart's desire. It was hidden in a mystical land beyond the forest, protected by enchanted creatures and magical puzzles. "I need someone with a pure heart and a brave spirit to help me find it," Lyra said. "Will you join me on this quest?" Finn, eager for an adventure, agreed without hesitation. Lyra sprinkled some stardust over Finn, and they set off on their journey. Their first challenge was to cross the Whispering River, which was known for its mysterious currents and enchanted creatures. As they reached the riverbank, a group of playful water sprites appeared, their laughter echoing through the forest. "Welcome to the Whispering River," said one sprite. "To cross, you must solve our riddle. Answer correctly, and the path will be revealed." Lyra and Finn listened carefully as the sprite spoke the riddle. "I have cities, but no houses. I have mountains, but no trees. I have water, but no fish. What am I?" Finn thought hard, and then his eyes lit up with realization. "A map," he exclaimed. The sprites cheered, and a shimmering bridge made of moonlight appeared across the river. Finn and Lyra crossed safely to the other side. Their next challenge took them to the Forest of Echoes, a magical forest where every sound was repeated by the trees. In the center of the forest stood a grand oak tree with a door carved into its trunk. The door was locked with a combination of melodies. Lyra whispered, "We must play the right tune to open the door. Listen to the echoes and follow their melody." Finn listened carefully to the repeating echoes of the forest. He remembered the lullabies his grandmother used to sing and began humming a gentle tune. The echoes harmonized with his melody, and the grand oak tree's door slowly creaked open. Inside the oak tree, they found a golden chest with intricate designs. Finn opened the chest, revealing a shimmering star-shaped key, the key to the Starry Compass. Lyra's eyes sparkled with joy. "The Starry Compass must be hidden in the celestial caves," Lyra explained. "We're almost there." With the star-shaped key in hand, Finn and Lyra made their way to the celestial caves, which were illuminated by the soft glow of countless crystals. Inside the caves, they faced one final test, a labyrinth of mirrors that reflected light in every direction. To find their way, they had to use the star-shaped key to align the mirrors and create a beam of light that would guide them to the hidden chamber. After some effort, Finn and Lyra succeeded in aligning the mirrors. The beam of light revealed a hidden passage leading to a small, enchanting chamber. In the center of the chamber stood the Starry Compass, glowing with a warm, golden light. Lyra and Finn approached the compass. As they touched it, the compass spun gently and then pointed towards a distant part of the sky. The compass's glow brightened, filling the chamber with a soft, comforting light. "You have done it, Finn!" Lyra exclaimed. "The Starry Compass is now in our hands. With this, we can guide people to their heart's desires and bring hope and joy to the world." Lyra thanked Finn for his bravery and kind heart. As a token of gratitude, she gifted him a small star-shaped pendant that would always remind him of their adventure. As Finn returned to Starlight, the village was abuzz with excitement about his journey. He shared his tale, and the villagers celebrated the return of the Starry Compass. From that day on, Finn was known as the boy who helped find the Starry Compass. The compass's magic brought prosperity and hope to the kingdom, and Finn's bravery became a cherished story passed down through generations. And every night, when Finn looked up at the stars, he felt a special connection to the magical adventure he had experienced and the fairy who had guided him on his journey. The enchanted lantern in a cozy village surrounded by rolling hills and dense woods, there was an old, weathered lantern shop owned by a kind-hearted man named Cedric. Cedric was known for crafting lanterns that could light up even the darkest night, but there was one lantern in his collection that was especially unique: the Enchanted Lantern. The Enchanted Lantern was said to hold a magical glow that could reveal hidden truths and grant wishes. However, it had been gathering dust in the shop for years because no one truly believed in its magic anymore. A mysterious visitor one chilly autumn evening, as the leaves rustled in the breeze, a mysterious visitor entered the shop. She was a young woman with a cloak that seemed to shimmer with the colors of twilight. Her eyes sparkled with a mix of curiosity and determination. Her name was Elara. Elara had heard whispers of the Enchanted Lantern and its legendary powers. She had come to find it, hoping it could help her find her missing brother, who had disappeared while on an adventurous quest. Cedric welcomed Elara and, sensing her earnestness, led her to the Enchanted Lantern. The lantern was covered with a delicate layer of dust, and its light seemed to flicker weakly. Cedric handed it to Elara, explaining its lore. This lantern is said to reveal hidden truths and guide those who are lost. But its magic is only awakened by those with a pure heart and a true purpose. The lantern's glow. Elara took the lantern and, with a hopeful heart, made her way to the edge of the village where the dark woods began. As the lantern's glow illuminated the path, Elara felt a sense of calm wash over her. The woods seemed to part before her, revealing a hidden trail that she had never noticed before. As she ventured deeper into the forest, the lantern's light grew brighter, casting a warm, golden hue on the surroundings. The trees, once ominous, now seemed to guide her with their gentle whispers. Elara followed the light, feeling a sense of connection to the lantern and its magic. The hidden grove. After a while, Elara arrived at a secluded grove bathed in moonlight. In the center of the grove was a small, crystal-clear pond. The lantern's light danced on the water's surface, revealing a hidden message written in glowing letters: "To find what you seek, look within the heart of the forest." Elara understood that the heart of the forest was not a physical place but a metaphorical one. She closed her eyes and focused on the memories of her brother and their shared adventures. As she did, the lantern's light began to pulse gently, guiding her to a hidden entrance beneath the roots of an ancient oak tree. The lost brother. Elara carefully crawled through the entrance and found herself in a dimly lit cavern. At the far end of the cavern, lying on a bed of soft moss, was her brother, Liam. He was unconscious but seemed to be resting peacefully. Elara's heart swelled with relief and joy. She knelt beside him and gently shook him awake. Liam opened his eyes, and upon seeing Elara, he smiled weakly. "I knew you would find me," he whispered. Elara helped her brother to his feet, and they made their way back to the lantern. As they emerged from the forest, the lantern's light seemed to shine even brighter, reflecting their happiness and the strength of their bond. A new beginning. Back in the village, Cedric welcomed them with open arms. Elara thanked him for his help and shared the story of the Enchanted Lantern and its magic. The villagers were amazed, and the lantern's legend was revived. Elara and Liam decided to use their experience to help others. They traveled to distant lands, seeking out those who were lost or in need of guidance. With the lantern's magic, they brought hope and healing to many. Cedric's shop became a place of wonder and inspiration, attracting visitors who wished to learn about the magic of the Enchanted Lantern. And though the lantern continued to glow softly in the shop, its true power was found in the hearts of those who believed in its magic and used it to make a difference in the world. The story of Elara and the Enchanted Lantern was told for generations, reminding everyone that the greatest magic lies in the love and courage we carry within ourselves. Once upon a time, in the lush and lively kingdom of Eldergrove, there was a magical place known as the Glade of Echoes. This glade was renowned for its ancient trees that sang with the wind and the Lantern of Legends, a mystical lantern said to grant one wish to those who approached it with a brave heart and a pure soul. The Lantern of Legends was hidden deep within the glade and could only be found on the night of the Moon Festival, when the sky was filled with shimmering moonbeams. In the charming village of Willowbend, nestled at the edge of the forest, lived a spirited and kind-hearted girl named Mira. Mira was known for her bravery and her love of stories. Her dearest friend was a clever and kind-hearted squirrel named Nutmeg, who was known for her quick thinking and her ability to find hidden paths. One evening, as the moon festival began, Mira and Nutmeg discovered an old, intricately carved wooden box buried beneath a bed of wildflowers. Inside the box was a beautifully engraved lantern and a note that read, "The Glade of Echoes awaits. Follow the lantern on the moon festival night to unlock its magic." Filled with excitement and a sense of purpose, Mira and Nutmeg set out on their journey. The path to the Glade of Echoes was bathed in the soft, silver light of the moon and the gentle glow of fireflies. As they entered the glade, they were greeted by the mesmerizing beauty of the moonlit trees and the soothing sounds of the singing wind. However, the path to the Lantern of Legends was guarded by 3 enchanting challenges. The first challenge was the Forest of Whispers. This was a dense, shadowy forest where the trees whispered riddles that needed to be solved to find the way forward. A soft, echoing voice from the trees posed a riddle. "I can be cracked, made, told, and played. What am I?" Mira thought carefully and then answered, "A joke." The trees rustled with approval, and the path through the Forest of Whispers cleared, leading them to the next challenge. The second challenge was the River of Reflections. This river was filled with shimmering, moonlit water that mirrored their deepest fears and desires. To cross the river, they needed to face their reflections and speak their true intentions. Mira and Nutmeg stepped cautiously to the river's edge. Mira saw her greatest desire, to bring happiness and prosperity to her village, reflected back at her. She spoke with conviction, "I wish for the well-being and joy of everyone in Willowbend, so that we may all thrive together." The river's surface glowed brightly, and a bridge of moonlight appeared, allowing them to cross safely. The final challenge was the Maze of Echoes. In this maze, the walls were lined with echoing whispers that shifted and changed direction. To find their way out, they needed to listen carefully and follow the correct echoes. Nutmeg's sharp ears helped guide them through the maze, and Mira used the lantern to illuminate their path. They carefully followed the echoes until they emerged into a moonlit clearing where the Lantern of Legends awaited. At the center of the clearing stood the Lantern of Legends, its light shimmering with a magical glow. To make their wish, Mira needed to speak her wish aloud with sincerity. Mira approached the lantern and spoke from her heart, "I wish for the happiness and prosperity of everyone in Willowbend, so that we may all live in harmony and joy." As Mira's wish was spoken, the lantern's light expanded, and a soft, golden glow spread throughout the glade and beyond. The magic of the lantern touched every corner of Eldergrove, bringing joy and prosperity to all who lived there. When Mira and Nutmeg returned to Willowbend, they found their village transformed. The fields were lush with crops, the animals were healthy and happy, and the people were filled with a deep sense of contentment and harmony. The tale of Mira and Nutmeg's adventure in the magic of the Lantern of Legends became a cherished story in Eldergrove, reminding everyone of the importance of courage, kindness, and the power of selfless wishes. And so, the Glade of Echoes continued to be a place of wonder and magic, where dreams and wishes came to life under the light of the Moon Festival. The end. Once upon a time, in a quaint village named Willowbrook, nestled between lush, rolling hills and sparkling streams, there was an ancient forest known as the Enchanted Forest. This forest was a place of mystery and wonder, with towering trees that whispered secrets and flowers that bloomed in colors unseen anywhere else. Legend spoke of a magical heart hidden deep within the forest, said to grant the purest of wishes. Among the villagers was a young boy named Finn. Finn was known for his adventurous spirit and unyielding curiosity. He had often heard tales of the enchanted forest and the magic it held, but he had never ventured inside. One crisp autumn morning, when the leaves were turning golden and the air was filled with the scent of pine, Finn decided to seek out the heart of the forest. With a small satchel of provisions, a sturdy walking stick, and a heart full of determination, Finn set out on his adventure. As he entered the enchanted forest, he felt a sense of wonder and excitement. The forest was alive with the sounds of rustling leaves and chirping birds, and beams of sunlight filtered through the dense canopy, creating a dance of light and shadow on the forest floor. Finn followed a winding path marked with glowing mushrooms and twinkling fireflies. The deeper he went, the more magical the forest became. He soon came across a sparkling stream with water so clear it seemed to shimmer with stars. As he knelt to take a drink, a gentle voice spoke from the water. "Brave traveler, what brings you to the heart of the enchanted forest?" Startled but composed, Finn looked around and saw a small, wise-looking fish with scales that sparkled like gems. "I seek the heart of the forest," Finn replied. "I want to make a wish that will bring joy to my village." The fish's eyes twinkled with understanding. "To find the heart, you must pass 3 trials. Each trial will test your courage, wisdom, and kindness. Only those who are true of heart will succeed." With a nod, Finn agreed to the challenge. And the first trial began. The path led him to a dark and eerie part of the forest where he faced a daunting, tangled thicket. The thicket was alive with shadows that seemed to reach out and grab at him. Finn's heart raced, but he remembered the stories of courage and took a deep breath. He noticed that the shadows were merely illusions created by the shifting light. By carefully navigating through the thicket and staying calm, Finn found a hidden path that led him safely through the darkness. The second trial brought Finn to a clearing with a massive, ancient tree at its center. The tree's bark was etched with intricate patterns, and at its base was a large, locked chest. An inscription on the chest read, "Only the wise can unlock the secrets within." Above the chest floated a riddle: "I can be cracked, made, told, and played. What am I?" Finn pondered the riddle, remembering the stories he'd heard. After a moment of thought, he answered, "A joke." The chest's lock clicked open, and inside was a golden key. Finn took the key, knowing it was meant for the next trial. The final trial led Finn to a grove where a beautiful, delicate flower was wilting on the ground. The flower's petals were losing their color, and it seemed to be fading away. A soft, mournful voice echoed from the flower. "To save me, you must give something precious from your heart," the voice said. Finn felt a pang of sadness but looked around for something he could offer. He remembered the golden key he had found and realized that his desire to help the flower was more important than keeping the key. He gently placed the key beside the flower and made a heartfelt wish for its revival. As he did, the flower's petals regained their vibrant color, and it bloomed more beautifully than before. A soft, warm light enveloped the grove, and the forest seemed to come alive with joy. The flower's voice spoke again, "You have passed all 3 trials with bravery, wisdom, and kindness. The heart of the forest is now revealed to you." A hidden glen appeared, illuminated by a radiant, golden light. In the center of the glen was a magnificent heart-shaped crystal, pulsing with a warm, comforting glow. Finn approached the crystal and made his wish, "I wish for the happiness and prosperity of my village." The crystal's light expanded and enveloped the entire enchanted forest, sending waves of magic toward Willowbrook. When Finn returned to his village, he found it transformed. The fields were lush, the rivers were clear, and the villagers were filled with joy and prosperity. The enchanted forest continued to thrive, and Finn's bravery and kindness became a cherished legend in Willowbrook. The heart of the forest remained a symbol of the magic that lives in selfless wishes and the wonders that can be found when one truly believes in the extraordinary. And so, the village of Willowbrook flourished under the enchantment of the forest, and Finn's adventure became a timeless story of courage, wisdom, and the power of a pure heart. Once upon a time, in the quaint village of Everbrook, nestled between rolling hills and ancient woods, lived a young girl named Lena. Everbrook was known for its enchanting beauty and the tales of a mystical forest of dreams that lay just beyond the village. The forest was said to be filled with magical creatures and hidden wonders, but it was also shrouded in mystery and an enchantment that made it nearly impossible to navigate. Every full moon, a radiant lantern known as the Moonlit Lantern would appear at the edge of the forest. The lantern was believed to be a key to unlocking the forest's deepest secrets and guiding the way to its heart. Legends told that whoever followed the lantern's light would discover something extraordinary and transformative. Lena had always been captivated by these stories. Her grandmother had often told her about the Moonlit Lantern and the wonders it could reveal. As the next full moon approached, Lena felt a strong pull to uncover the truth behind the legends. She decided that she would follow the lantern and see what mysteries lay within the forest of dreams. On the night of the full moon, Lena set out with a small satchel of supplies, a warm cloak, and a heart full of curiosity and hope. She reached the edge of the forest just as the moonlit lantern appeared, casting a soft, silver glow that seemed to beckon her inward. With determination, Lena followed the lantern's light as it floated gracefully through the trees. The forest was filled with enchanting sounds, the rustle of leaves, the distant call of owls, and the soft whisper of the wind. As Lena walked deeper into the forest, she encountered a variety of magical creatures, fireflies that danced like stars, mischievous pixies that played among the branches, and a wise old owl perched on a gnarled tree. The owl, noticing Lena's approach, hooted softly. "Welcome, young traveler. To proceed further, you must solve a riddle. Only then will you earn the right to continue your journey." Lena nodded, eager to prove herself. The owl began, "I can be cracked, made, told, and played. What am I?" Lena thought carefully and then replied, "A joke." The owl's eyes twinkled with approval. "Well done. The path ahead is now open to you." Lena continued following the moonlit lantern, which now led her to a shimmering pond surrounded by luminescent flowers. The pond's surface was perfectly still, and the moonlight reflected off it like a silver mirror. At the edge of the pond, a graceful water nymph named Seraphina awaited her. To cross the pond, Seraphina said, "You must show your kindness. There is a small boat that will take you, but it is stuck on the other side of the pond. Help it return here, and I will grant you passage." Lena spotted the boat tangled in some reeds across the pond. She carefully waded through the shallow water, freeing the boat and guiding it back to Seraphina. The water nymph, pleased by Lena's willingness to help, created a bridge of glowing lily pads for Lena to cross. On the other side of the pond, Lena found herself in a glade bathed in soft moonlight. In the center of the glade stood an ancient stone archway, beyond which was a hidden grove. As Lena approached, a majestic stag with silver antlers emerged from the shadows. His name was Thorn, the guardian of the grove. To enter the grove, Thorn said, "You must show your courage. Inside the grove lies a great challenge. Face it with bravery, and you shall succeed." Lena entered the grove, where she found a grand, enchanted tree with a hollow trunk. Inside the hollow, she saw a swirling mist that took the shape of her greatest fears. Lena faced each fear with steadfast resolve, remembering the stories of her grandmother and the hope she had for discovering the forest's secrets. Her bravery and determination shone through, and the mist dissipated, revealing a hidden chamber within the tree. In the center of the chamber was an ornate chest, and beside it, the moonlit lantern hovered, its light glowing brighter than ever. Lena opened the chest to find a magnificent book bound in silver. As she touched the book, it began to glow with a soft, warm light, and its pages turned to reveal beautiful illustrations and stories of the Forest of Dreams. The book held the knowledge and wisdom of the forest, and it was a gift to those who ventured with a pure heart and a courageous spirit. With the moonlit lantern guiding her, Lena made her way back to Everbrook. The book's magic illuminated her path, and she shared the stories and wisdom with the villagers, enriching their lives and deepening their connection to the enchanting forest. The Forest of Dreams was no longer a place of mystery but a cherished part of Everbrook's heritage. Lena's bravery and curiosity had unlocked its secrets, and she became a beloved storyteller, sharing the wonders of the forest with all who wished to listen. And so, the village of Everbrook flourished under the light of the moonlit lantern's wisdom, and the Forest of Dreams continued to inspire and enchant all who ventured into its magical embrace. The end. In a faraway kingdom, nestled between towering mountains and vast green meadows, there lay a forest known as the Enchanted Grove. The grove was not like any other forest, it was filled with ancient trees that were said to be alive with magic. The leaves shimmered with a soft golden glow, and the air was always fragrant with the scent of flowers. The grove was protected by a powerful spell, and only those with pure hearts could enter. At the edge of the enchanted grove lived a little mouse named Pip. Pip was small, even for a mouse, but what he lacked in size, he made up for in courage. He had bright, curious eyes and a heart full of adventure. Pip lived with his family in a cozy burrow, but he often dreamed of exploring the world beyond the fields and into the magical grove. One day, As Pip was gathering seeds near the forest's edge, he overheard two sparrows talking. They were chirping excitedly about a great danger that was threatening the grove. An evil sorcerer, who had long been banished from the kingdom, had returned. He was planning to steal the magic from the enchanted grove to make himself the most powerful being in the land. If he succeeded, the grove would wither, and all its magic would be lost forever. The sparrows were worried, but they didn't know what to do. The creatures of the forest were too afraid to face the sorcerer, and no one had the courage to enter the heart of the grove to protect it. Pip listened intently, his tiny heart beating fast. He knew that someone had to stop the sorcerer, and although he was small, he was determined to try. That night, Pip gathered his courage and set out on his journey. He told his family that he would return soon and promised to be careful. With nothing but a tiny acorn cap for a helmet and a thimble for a shield, Pip ventured into the enchanted grove. The journey begins as Pip entered the grove. He marveled at its beauty. The trees towered above him, their branches forming a canopy of golden leaves that seemed to glow with an inner light. The ground was soft with moss, and flowers of every color bloomed around him. But Pip knew he couldn't stop to admire the scenery. He had a mission to complete. Pip walked deeper into the forest, following a narrow path that seemed to guide him. As he walked, he encountered many creatures of the grove. A wise old owl, perched on a branch, looked down at Pip and hooted, "What brings you to the heart of the grove, little mouse?" "I'm here to protect the grove from the evil sorcerer," Pip replied bravely. "I may be small, but I won't let him steal the magic." The owl blinked its large, golden eyes and nodded. "You are brave, little one. But the sorcerer is powerful, and you must be careful." "Take this feather," the owl said, plucking a single silver feather from its wing. "It will help you when you face the sorcerer. Use it wisely." Pip thanked the owl and continued on his way. He tucked the silver feather into his tiny helmet and walked deeper into the grove. As he ventured further, the path became more difficult. The trees grew denser, and the air grew colder. Pip shivered but pressed on. The guardian of the grove, after what felt like hours of walking, Pip reached a clearing in the heart of the grove. In the center of the clearing stood a massive tree, its trunk so wide that it seemed to touch the sky. The tree was ancient, with bark as tough as stone and roots that dug deep into the earth. This was the heart tree, the source of the grove's magic. But guarding the tree was a creature Pip had never seen before. It was a giant badger, with fur as black as night and eyes that gleamed like sapphires. The badger was the guardian of the grove, a creature of immense strength and power, charged with protecting the heart tree from any who would do it harm. The badger looked down at Pip and growled, "Who dares to enter the heart of the grove?" Pip took a deep breath and stepped forward. "I am Pip, a little mouse from the edge of the forest. I've come to protect the grove from the evil sorcerer who wants to steal its magic." The badger eyed Pip suspiciously. "You are brave, little mouse, but how can someone so small hope to defeat a sorcerer?" "I may be small," Pip replied, "but I have a pure heart in the help of the creatures of the grove. I will do whatever it takes to save this place." The badger was silent for a moment, then nodded. "You have a courageous spirit, Pip. I will let you pass, but be warned, the sorcerer is not to be underestimated. Take this with you." The badger handed Pip a small, glowing stone. "This is a piece of the heart tree. It will protect you from the sorcerer's dark magic." Pip thanked the badger and took the glowing stone, tucking it into his shield. With renewed determination, he continued on his journey. The sorcerer's lair. Pip followed the path until he reached the edge of the clearing, where a dark cave loomed before him. This was the sorcerer's lair, a place of shadows and fear. The entrance was guarded by two large wolves, their eyes glowing red with malice. But Pip was not afraid. He took the silver feather from his helmet and held it high. The feather began to glow, and the light from it blinded the wolves, causing them to cower in fear. Pip quickly ran past them and entered the cave. The cave was dark and cold, with the walls covered in strange symbols that glowed with an eerie light. As Pip ventured deeper, he heard the sound of the sorcerer's voice echoing through the tunnels. The sorcerer was chanting, casting a spell to drain the magic from the grove. Pip followed the sound until he reached a large chamber. In the center of the chamber stood the sorcerer, a tall, menacing figure cloaked in black. His hands were raised above a cauldron, and dark energy swirled around him. Pip knew he had to act quickly. He took the glowing stone from his shield and threw it at the sorcerer. The stone struck the sorcerer, and a blinding light filled the chamber. The sorcerer cried out in pain as the light overwhelmed him, breaking his spell and dispelling the darkness. The sorcerer fell to his knees, defeated. How could a mere mouse defeat me?" he gasped. Pip stepped forward, holding his shield high. "It's not about size or power," he said. "It's about courage and the strength of your heart. The creatures of the grove believed in me, and together, we were able to protect this place." With that, the sorcerer disappeared in a puff of smoke, his dark magic vanquished. The return home the chamber grew quiet, and the magic of the grove returned to its full strength. The walls glowed with a warm, golden light, and the air was filled with the scent of flowers once more. Pip knew that the grove was safe. He made his way back through the cave and out into the clearing. The guardian of the grove and the other creatures were waiting for him. They cheered as Pip emerged, victorious. The badger nodded approvingly. "You have done well, little mouse. The grove is forever in your debt." Pip smiled, feeling proud of what he had accomplished. "I couldn't have done it without all of your help," he said. "The grove is a magical place, and it deserves to be protected." With the sorcerer defeated, Pip returned to his village. He was greeted as a hero, and the story of how a brave little mouse saved the enchanted grove was told for generations to come. And so, the enchanted grove remained a place of beauty and magic, protected by the memory of Pip the Brave. And every time the leaves of the heart tree rustled in the wind, the creatures of the forest would remember the small mouse with the big heart who saved them all. The end. Once upon a time, in a land where rolling meadows met ancient forests, there was a village called Wrenwood. The villagers of Wrenwood lived in harmony with nature, guided by the rhythms of the changing seasons. They had a special place they called the Moonlit Glade, a mystical clearing deep in the forest that was said to hold great magic, especially under the light of the full moon. In this village lived a young boy named Theo, who was known for his boundless curiosity and adventurous spirit. Theo had grown up hearing tales of the Moonlit Glade and the wonders it held. The most enchanting of these stories was about a hidden treasure that could only be found under the light of a rare blue moon, which occurred once every 100 years. One evening, as the blue moon began to rise over the horizon, casting its silvery light across the land, Theo decided it was time to seek out the Moonlit Glade and uncover its secrets. With a small satchel of supplies, including a lantern, a map of the forest, and a piece of bread, Theo set off into the woods. The forest was alive with the sounds of nocturnal creatures. The moonlight filtered through the canopy, creating an ethereal glow. Theo followed a path lined with glowing mushrooms and twinkling fireflies that seemed to dance in the moonlight. After a while, Theo reached a fork in the path. Remembering his grandmother's tales, he took the left path, which was said to lead to the heart of the forest. The trees grew taller and the air felt cooler as he ventured deeper into the woods. The path wound around ancient oak trees and over babbling brooks until Theo arrived at a shimmering waterfall cascading into a crystal-clear pool. At the base of the waterfall, Theo noticed a small, intricately carved stone archway covered in delicate ivy. The archway seemed to glow softly in the moonlight. He stepped through the archway and found himself in the Moonlit Glade. The glade was breathtaking. The clearing was bathed in the soft, blue light of the moon, and the air was filled with the sweet fragrance of night-blooming flowers. At the center of the glade stood a large, ancient oak tree with branches that reached toward the sky, and beneath it, a large, ornate chest adorned with moonstones and silver filigree. Theo approached the chest with a sense of awe and anticipation. As he examined the chest, he noticed a small inscription that read, "To unlock the treasure, one must solve the riddle of the moon." Theo took a deep breath and read the inscription aloud. "I rise in the night and vanish by day. I have no wings but soar through the sky." What am I? Theo thought for a moment, recalling the many stories he had heard about the moon. With a sense of certainty, he answered, the moon. The chest's lock clicked open, revealing a beautiful, glowing crystal that shimmered with all the colors of the night sky. The crystal was set on a velvet cushion and seemed to pulse with a gentle, rhythmic light. As Theo reached out to take the crystal, a soft voice spoke from the tree. You have found the heart of the moon, the treasure of the moonlit glade. This crystal holds the magic of the blue moon and can grant one true wish to someone with a pure heart. Theo's mind raced with possibilities, but he remembered the tales of his village and the struggles they had faced with crops and the river's dwindling flow. With a deep breath, he made his wish. I wish for our village to have bountiful harvests and a thriving river, so that all may live in peace and prosperity. The moment Theo made his wish, the crystal's light grew brighter, illuminating the entire glade. The light spread beyond the glade, reaching Wrenwood. The crops in the fields began to flourish, and the river flowed with renewed vigor, sparkling with the same magical light that had filled the moonlit glade. Theo returned to Wrenwood, where he was greeted with astonished and grateful villagers. They marveled at the lush fields and the revitalized river, and Theo shared the story of his adventure and the magic of the moonlit glade. From that day forward, the villagers of Wrenwood celebrated the blue moon as a time of renewal and gratitude. The moonlit glade remained a place of wonder and magic, a reminder of the power of a pure heart and the enchantment that lies within the world. And so, under the light of many moons, Wrenwood thrived, and Theo's adventure became a cherished tale told for generations, inspiring others to seek out their own magic and make wishes for the greater good. Once upon a time, in a faraway land called Eldoria, there was a village named Morningside. This village was renowned for its beautiful orchards that stretched as far as the eye could see. The orchards bore the most delicious fruits, and people from neighboring villages would come to trade and taste the exquisite produce. In the heart of the largest orchard stood an ancient, majestic tree known as the Starlight Tree. The tree was said to be enchanted, its leaves shimmering with a silvery glow, and its fruits possessing magical properties. The villagers believed that the tree was a gift from the stars, and they treated it with great reverence, celebrating its bounty with festivals and songs. However, one year, the Starlight Tree stopped bearing fruit. Its leaves lost their shimmer, and the villagers were overcome with sorrow. The once thriving village began to wither, and the joy that filled Morningside faded. The village elders consulted ancient texts and prophecies, trying to understand what had gone wrong. They discovered an old legend that spoke of a curse placed on the tree by a jealous sorceress. The curse could only be broken by retrieving a magical artifact known as the starseed, hidden in the depths of the enchanted forest. In Morningside lived a young girl named Alara, known for her bravery and kindness. She loved the Starlight Tree dearly, as it had been the heart of many happy memories in her life. Determined to save her village, Alara volunteered to find the starseed and restore the tree's magic. The villagers were hesitant to let her go, knowing the dangers of the enchanted forest, but Alara's resolve was unwavering. Before she set off, the village elders gave Alara a locket that had been passed down through generations. The locket contained a piece of the tree's bark and was said to protect its wearer from dark magic. With the locket around her neck and a heart full of hope, Alara ventured into the enchanted forest. The forest was dense and filled with enchantments. As Alara navigated through the towering trees, she encountered a talking fox named Ryan. Ryan had bright, intelligent eyes and a mischievous grin. "What brings you to these parts, young one?" he asked. Alara explained her quest, and Ryan, impressed by her courage, offered to guide her through the forest. Together, they faced numerous challenges. They crossed the River of Whispers, where the water tried to lure them off their path with seductive voices. They braved the Cave of Echoes, where every step they took was mirrored by shadows that tried to lead them astray. As they ventured deeper into the forest, they encountered a grumpy old owl named Orin. Orin initially tried to dissuade them, warning of the dangers ahead, but Alara's determination and kindness softened his heart. He revealed that he was once a guardian of the starseed but had failed in his duty due to the sorceress's curse. Feeling responsible, Orin decided to join them on their quest. After days of arduous travel, they finally reached the Glade of Eternal Night, where the starseed was said to be hidden. The glade was bathed in an eerie, perpetual twilight, and at its center stood a crystal pedestal, atop which lay the starseed. Guarding the starseed was a fierce dragon named Nocturne, scales shimmering like obsidian and eyes glowing with a malevolent light. "Who dares to enter my domain?" Nocturne roared, his voice shaking the ground. Elara stepped forward, her voice steady despite her fear. "I am Elara of Morningside, and I seek the starseed to save my village and restore the Starlight Tree." Nocturne laughed, a deep, rumbling sound. "Many have tried and failed. What makes you think you are worthy?" Elara took a deep breath, her hand clutching the locket. "I am not alone. I have the strength and support of my friends, Ryan and Oren, and the hopes of my village. Together, we can break the curse." Touched by her sincerity and bravery, Nocturne's eyes softened. "Very well. To prove your worth, you must face one final challenge. You must touch the starseed with a heart free of fear and full of hope." Elara nodded, her resolve unwavering. She approached the pedestal, feeling the weight of her village's hopes and dreams on her shoulders. She closed her eyes, took a deep breath, and touched the starseed. Immediately, a blinding light enveloped her, and she felt a surge of warmth and energy. When the light faded, the glade was transformed. The perpetual twilight was replaced by a warm, golden glow, and Nocturne's menacing form was gone, replaced by a majestic, gentle dragon. He bowed his head in gratitude. "You have broken the curse. The starseed is yours." With the starseed in hand, Elara, Ryan, and Oren made their way back to Morningside. When they arrived, the village erupted in joy. Elara planted the starseed at the base of the Starlight Tree, and as it took root, the tree began to glow with a brilliant light. Its leaves regained their silvery shimmer, and the branches were soon laden with the magical fruits once more. The village of Morningside flourished, and the people celebrated Elara's bravery and determination. The festivals returned, and the orchards thrived, more bountiful than ever. Elara's legend spread far and wide, inspiring others to act with courage and kindness. And so, Morningside lived happily ever after, forever grateful for the brave girl who saved their beloved Starlight Tree and brought joy back to their lives. The end.
Once upon a time, in a charming village nestled at the edge of a vast, mystical forest, there was an enchanted garden that no one had seen for many years. The garden was said to be filled with magical flowers and guarded by a wise old owl who could answer any question. In this village lived a small, timid hedgehog named Hazel. Hazel was known for her curiosity and her kind heart. Every day, she would listen to the stories the elder animals told about the enchanted garden and dream of exploring it one day. However, she was always too afraid to venture into the forest, fearing what might be lurking in the dark woods. One sunny morning, the village faced a problem. The crops were not growing as they should, and the villagers were worried. The only hope they had was the enchanted garden, which was rumored to have plants with magical properties that could restore the land. The village elder called a meeting and announced, "We need someone brave to find the enchanted garden and bring back a magical flower. Who among us will take on this quest?" Hazel's heart raced. She longed to help her village, but was afraid of the journey through the forest. Despite her fears, Hazel decided to step forward. "I will find the enchanted garden and bring back a magical flower." The villagers were surprised but cheered for Hazel. The elder gave her a small, ancient map that showed the way to the garden. With a determined heart and a small satchel for the magical flower, Hazel set off on her journey. As Hazel entered the forest, the trees seemed to whisper around her. She followed the map's directions, carefully navigating through the thick underbrush and overgrown paths. The forest was beautiful, but also mysterious, with every shadow seeming to hide a secret. After a while, Hazel came across a shimmering stream. The map indicated she needed to cross it, but there was no bridge. Just as she was wondering how to get across, a friendly beaver named Benny appeared. "Hello, little hedgehog," Benny said with a warm smile. "I see you need to cross the stream. I can help you, but first, Tell me why you're traveling through the forest." Hazel explained her quest to find the enchanted garden and bring back a magical flower to save her village. Benny, impressed by her bravery, offered to help. Using his skills, he built a sturdy raft from fallen branches and logs. Hazel thanked Benny and crossed the stream safely. Continuing her journey, Hazel reached the edge of a dense thicket. According to the map, the enchanted garden was hidden within. As she pushed through the thicket, she heard a soft, melodious voice singing. Following the sound, Hazel found a beautiful golden bird perched on a low branch. "Welcome, traveler," the golden bird said. "To enter the enchanted garden, you must answer a riddle. What can you hold in your right hand but never in your left?" Hazel thought for a moment and then smiled. "My left hand." The golden bird chirped happily and fluttered its wings. "You may enter." Hazel carefully made her way through the thicket and emerged into the enchanted garden. The sight was breathtaking. The garden was filled with vibrant flowers that glowed with a soft, otherworldly light. In the center was a grand, crystal fountain that sparkled in the sunlight. Hazel spotted a large, radiant flower in the center of the garden. It was the most beautiful flower she had ever seen, with petals that shimmered in every color of the rainbow. She knew this was the magical flower she needed. As Hazel approached the flower, a wise old owl perched on a nearby tree spoke. "You have done well to find the enchanted garden, but taking the magical flower is not enough. You must also make a wish for the well-being of your village." Hazel closed her eyes and wished with all her heart for the village's crops to flourish and for the land to be restored. The owl nodded in approval, and the magical flower's light grew even brighter. With the flower safely in her satchel, Hazel made her way back to the village. The journey home seemed shorter, and the forest seemed less intimidating. She crossed the stream again, thanked Benny, and returned to the village. As Hazel presented the magical flower to the elder, a wave of warmth and light spread through the village. The crops began to grow lush and green, and the land was restored to its former beauty. The villagers celebrated Hazel's bravery with a grand feast. They thanked her for saving their village and admired her courage. The elder spoke, "Hazel, you have shown us that even the smallest among us can achieve great things with a brave heart." From that day on, Hazel was no longer timid, but was known for her courage and kindness. The enchanted garden remained a symbol of hope and magic, and Hazel's story was told for generations to come. And so, Hazel lived happily in her village, always ready for new adventures and eager to help others in need. The enchanted garden continued to bloom with magic, and the village thrived under its blessing.
Once upon a time, in a cozy village surrounded by lush meadows and rolling hills, there stood an ancient willow tree at the edge of the forest. The villagers called it the Whispering Willow because it was said to grant wishes to those who truly needed help. In this village lived a young girl named Clara. Clara was kind-hearted and always helped her neighbors, but her own family was struggling. Her parents were ill, and her small garden, which provided their food, had failed to yield any crops for months. One crisp autumn evening, Clara decided to visit the Whispering Willow, hoping it could help her family. As she approached the towering tree, its branches swayed gently, even though there was no breeze. Clara stood quietly and closed her eyes, whispering her wish into the rustling leaves. "Oh, Whispering Willow, please help my family. We are in great need. I ask for your help to make our garden grow and for my parents to regain their strength." As Clara finished her plea, she felt a gentle hand touch her shoulder. She turned to see a small, elderly woman with twinkling eyes and a warm smile. "I am Willow, the guardian of this tree," the woman said softly. "I heard your wish, Clara. To help your family, you must first embark on a journey to find 3 magical items hidden in the forest. Only then will the Whispering Willow be able to grant your wish." Clara nodded, determined to help her family. Willow handed her a small, golden compass. "This will guide you on your journey. Follow its directions, and you will find what you seek." With the compass in hand, Clara ventured into the forest. The trees were thick, and the path was often hidden, but the compass glowed softly, guiding her through the forest. After a few hours, Clara came across a clearing where a sparkling pond lay. In the middle of the pond, on a small island, was a golden lily. Clara knew this was the first item she needed. She carefully crossed the pond on stepping stones and picked the golden lily, which shimmered brightly. As she continued her journey, the compass led Clara deeper into the forest, to a cave covered in glowing moss. Inside, a magical blue stone lay on a pedestal, surrounded by gently humming fireflies. Clara knew this was the second item. She carefully picked up the stone, and the fireflies danced around her in delight. Finally, the compass guided Clara to the heart of the forest, where an ancient oak tree stood. Hanging from its branches was a crystal-clear bottle filled with a glowing liquid. Clara understood this was the final item she needed. She gently took the bottle, feeling its warmth in her hands. With all three magical items secured, Clara made her way back to the Whispering Willow. Willow greeted her with a smile and took the items, placing them carefully at the base of the tree. The golden lily, the blue stone, and the glowing bottle are all that is needed, Willow said. Now, make your wish once more. Clara closed her eyes and repeated her wish for her family's well-being. As she spoke, the Whispering Willow's branches began to glow with a soft, golden light. The light spread across the village, bathing everything in a warm, soothing glow. The next morning, Clara returned home to find her parents feeling much better. The garden, once barren, was now full of lush, green vegetables and vibrant flowers. The village was abuzz with excitement, and the villagers marveled at the miraculous change. Clara's family was overjoyed, and they thanked Clara for her bravery and determination. The village celebrated with a grand feast, and the Whispering Willow was honored with a beautiful flower garden around its base. From that day on, Clara continued to help her neighbors, and her family thrived. The Whispering Willow remained a symbol of hope and magic, reminding everyone that kindness and perseverance could bring about the most wonderful changes. And so, Clara's days were filled with joy and gratitude, knowing that the magic of the Whispering Willow had touched her life and the lives of those she loved. Once upon a time, in the quaint village of Bramblebrook, nestled between rolling hills and lush meadows, there was a small, charming tea shop run by a kind old woman named Mrs. Thistle. The tea shop was renowned for its delicious teas and the comforting atmosphere it provided. However, the true magic of the tea shop lay in an old, ornate teapot that Mrs. Thistle kept hidden away in a special cupboard. This teapot was no ordinary teapot. It was enchanted, and it had the power to grant a single wish to anyone who drank from it with a pure heart. The secret of the teapot was known only to Mrs. Thistle, and she used it sparingly, only when someone truly needed a wish. One crisp autumn day, a young boy named Oliver came into the tea shop. Oliver was a curious and kind-hearted lad, but his family had fallen on hard times. His father had fallen ill, and his mother was struggling to make ends meet. Despite their hardships, Oliver always wore a bright smile and tried to help his parents in any way he could. Mrs. Thistle noticed the worry in Oliver's eyes and the weariness in his mother's face. She knew it was time to reveal the magic of the teapot. After Oliver and his mother had enjoyed a warm cup of tea, Mrs. Thistle invited them to stay a little longer. "I have something special to show you," she said, leading them to the cupboard where the enchanted teapot was kept. She carefully took it out and placed it on the table. This teapot, Mrs. Thistle explained, has the power to grant a single wish to those with a pure heart. You may use it to ask for anything that can help you and your family. Oliver's eyes widened with amazement. He had heard stories of magical things, but he had never imagined he would encounter such a wonder. He took the teapot and, with a hopeful heart, made his wish. "I wish for my father to get better and for our family to be happy again." Mrs. Thistle smiled warmly and told Oliver to pour a cup of tea from the teapot and drink it. Oliver did as instructed, and as he took the first sip, he felt a warm, comforting sensation spread through him. The teapot began to glow softly, and a gentle breeze seemed to fill the room. That night, Oliver's father's condition began to improve. The next day, a local healer came to the house, and with his help, Oliver's father made a remarkable recovery. the family's fortunes also changed as unexpected help came their way, and they began to find joy and stability once more. Grateful for the magic that had transformed their lives, Oliver and his family returned to Mrs. Thistle's tea shop to thank her. They found her in the garden, tending to her plants. "Thank you, Mrs. Thistle," Oliver said, his eyes shining with gratitude. "The magic of the teapot brought my father back to us and made our family whole again." Mrs. Thistle nodded with a smile. "Remember, my dear, the true magic is in the kindness of your heart and the love you have for your family. The teapot merely helped reveal the goodness within you." From then on, Oliver and his family continued to visit the tea shop regularly, and their lives flourished with happiness and prosperity. The enchanted teapot remained in Mrs. Thistle's cupboard, ready to help those who needed it most, but its true magic lay in the love and kindness that it inspired in those who sought its aid. And so, the village of Bramblebrook thrived, filled with warmth and joy, all thanks to the kindness of a magical teapot and the loving heart of a young boy. The end. Once upon a time, in a land far away, there was a small kingdom nestled between snow-capped mountains and a shimmering lake. This kingdom was known for its beautiful gardens, but the most magnificent of all was the moonlit garden. It was said that this garden only bloomed under the light of the full moon, and its flowers had the power to heal any ailment and bring peace to troubled hearts. The moonlit garden was the creation of Queen Seraphina, who was loved by all for her wisdom and kindness. She tended to the garden herself, ensuring that it remained a place of beauty and solace. However, as the years passed, Queen Seraphina grew old and frail. The kingdom began to worry about who would care for the garden when she was gone. In a nearby village, there lived a young girl named Elara. Elara had a special gift: she could speak to plants and understand their needs. She often helped her neighbors with their gardens, and her small cottage was always surrounded by vibrant, blooming flowers. When Elara heard about Queen Seraphina's plight, she felt a calling deep within her heart to help. One evening, as the full moon rose high in the sky, Elara made her way to the palace. She approached the gates and requested an audience with the queen. The guards, knowing of her reputation, allowed her in. Elara found Queen Seraphina resting in the moonlit garden, her face illuminated by the soft glow of the moon. "Your Majesty," Elara said with a bow, "I have come to offer my help. I wish to tend to the moonlit garden and ensure it continues to bloom and bring joy to our kingdom." Queen Seraphina looked at Elara with kind, knowing eyes. "I have heard of your gift, Elara. The garden has whispered your name to me. But tending the moonlit garden is no ordinary task. It requires more than just a green thumb, it requires a heart full of love and dedication." Elara nodded, her determination unwavering. "I understand, Your Majesty. I promise to care for the garden with all my heart." The queen smiled and handed Elara a small, silver key. "This key will unlock the heart of the garden. Use it wisely, and remember that the true magic of the moonlit garden lies in the love you give to it." From that day on, Elara became the guardian of the moonlit garden. She spent her days tending to the flowers, talking to them, and ensuring they were healthy and happy. Every full moon, the garden would bloom in all its glory, and people from all over the kingdom would come to marvel at its beauty and seek its healing powers. Elara's love and dedication brought new life to the garden. The flowers bloomed more vibrantly than ever before, and their healing properties grew stronger. The kingdom thrived, and Queen Seraphina, now at peace, spent her remaining days enjoying the garden she had created. Years passed, and Elara's bond with the moonlit garden deepened. She learned the secrets of each flower, understanding their unique needs and abilities. The garden, in turn, flourished under her care, becoming a place of unparalleled beauty and magic. One night, as Elara walked through the garden under the full moon, she heard a soft, melodious voice. It was the spirit of Queen Seraphina, who had become one with the garden she loved so dearly. "Elara," the spirit said, "you have done more than just care for the garden. You have made it your own, and in doing so, you have brought great joy to our kingdom. The moonlit garden will continue to bloom as long as there are hearts like yours to tend to it." Elara felt a warm, comforting presence envelop her. She knew that Queen Seraphina would always be with her, guiding her and watching over the garden. She vowed to continue her work, ensuring that the moonlit garden remained a place of healing and peace for generations to come. The story of Alara and the moonlit garden became a cherished legend in the kingdom. People would tell tales of the young girl who could speak to plants and the garden that bloomed under the light of the full moon. It became a symbol of love, dedication, and the magic that comes from caring for the world around us. And so, Alara and the moonlit garden lived on, bringing beauty and healing to all who visited. The kingdom flourished, united by the love and magic of the garden, and they all lived happily ever after. In a serene valley surrounded by towering, ancient trees, there lay a hidden forest known as the Forest of Forgotten Dreams. Legend spoke of this mystical place where dreams that had been lost or abandoned over time took root and blossomed into something extraordinary. The forest was said to be enchanted, and only those with pure intentions and a brave heart could venture within its depths. In the nearby village of Meadowbrook, there lived a young woman named Ava. Ava was known for her kindness and creativity. She was a painter who brought color and life to even the dullest days. Despite her joy in painting, Ava felt a growing sense of melancholy, as if a dream she once cherished was slipping away from her grasp. One evening, as the sun set and the sky turned a deep shade of violet, Ava was wandering near the edge of the Forest of Forgotten Dreams. She paused, captivated by the beauty and mystery of the forest. She had heard the legends but had never dared to enter. Tonight, she felt a strange pull, as if something inside her was urging her to explore the forest. With a mix of curiosity and trepidation, Ava stepped into the forest. The moment she crossed the threshold, she was enveloped in a shimmering, silvery mist. The trees were tall and majestic, their leaves shimmering with a soft, otherworldly glow. As Ava walked, she noticed that the forest was filled with the gentle hum of hidden melodies and the occasional whisper of the wind. After walking for what seemed like hours, Ava arrived at a clearing bathed in moonlight. At the center of the clearing stood an enormous tree with bark that sparkled like stardust. Its branches were adorned with countless glowing orbs that floated gently in the air, casting a warm, enchanting light. Approaching the tree, Ava saw a figure sitting beneath its branches. It was an elderly woman with a kind, wise face and a flowing robe that seemed to be woven from threads of moonlight. The woman looked up and smiled as Ava drew near. "Welcome, traveler," the woman said in a voice as soothing as a lullaby. "I am Seraphina, the guardian of the forest. You have entered the Forest of Forgotten Dreams, a place where dreams long lost are given new life. How may I assist you on your journey?" Ava hesitated before speaking. "I feel as if I have lost a dream that once meant everything to me. I hope that perhaps this forest might help me find it again." Seraphina nodded thoughtfully. "The dreams that come to this forest are like seeds that need nurturing. They may not always be as they once were, but they often reveal their essence in new and wondrous ways. Tell me, what was your dream?" Ava took a deep breath. "I once dreamed of painting a masterpiece that would capture the beauty and magic of the world around us. But lately, I feel as if that dream is slipping away from me, lost among the ordinary and mundane." Seraphina smiled warmly. "Follow me, and we shall see what the forest reveals." Seraphina led Ava to a small, tranquil pond at the edge of the clearing. The surface of the pond was perfectly still, reflecting the glowing orbs above like a sheet of liquid glass. As Ava gazed into the pond, she saw not just her own reflection but also visions of her past paintings and dreams. Each vision was vibrant and filled with life, but some were also tinged with shadows of doubt and fear. The pond began to ripple, and from its depths, a single, radiant flower emerged. The flower was unlike any Ava had ever seen. Its petals shimmered with iridescent colors that shifted with every movement. The flower seemed to beckon Ava closer. "This is the bloom of inspiration," Seraphina said. "It holds the essence of dreams and creativity. To find your lost dream, you must nurture this bloom and allow it to guide you." Ava carefully picked the bloom and cradled it in her hands. She felt a surge of warmth and light as the flower's magic intertwined with her own. She realized that the dream she had lost was not gone but had become a part of her, waiting to be rediscovered and expressed anew. With the bloom of inspiration in her care, Ava made her way back to her village. She found that the experience had rekindled her passion and creativity. She began to paint again, infusing her work with the vibrant essence of the bloom. Her paintings captured not only the beauty of the world but also the magic and wonders she had rediscovered within herself. The villagers marveled at her work, which seemed to bring a new kind of joy and enchantment to their lives. Ava's paintings became renowned for their ability to inspire and uplift, and she realized that her dream had not been lost but had been transformed into something even more beautiful. As the years passed, the Forest of Forgotten Dreams remained a place of wonder and magic. Ava often visited the forest, finding new inspiration and dreams among its glowing orbs and magical blooms. Her story was passed down through generations as a reminder that dreams, once lost, could always be found again if one followed their heart with courage and creativity. And so, the legend of Ava and the bloom of inspiration continued to inspire countless others. The enchanted lantern. In a land where the mountains met the clouds and rivers sparkled with enchantment, there was a village called Luminera. Luminera was renowned for its annual Festival of Lights, a magical celebration where lanterns filled the sky, lighting up the night with 1,000 glimmers. The festival was said to be guided by the magic of a legendary lantern hidden deep in the heart of the enchanted forest. In this village lived a young girl named Mira, known for her boundless curiosity and kind heart. Despite the joy of the festival, Mira felt that something was missing in her life. She longed to discover the true source of the lantern's magic and find her own place in the world. The lantern's call. One crisp autumn evening, as the Festival of Lights approached, Mira found an old, ornate lantern while exploring the attic of her family's cottage. The lantern was beautifully decorated with intricate patterns and had a faint, glowing light emanating from within. Attached to it was a note that read, "To uncover the true magic of the festival, follow the light of the lantern to the heart of the enchanted forest." With excitement and determination, Mira decided to follow the lantern's glow. She set out on her journey as twilight descended, the village lights fading behind her. The enchanted forest was a place of wonder, with trees that whispered ancient secrets and flowers that glowed softly in the moonlight. The lantern's light guided Mira through the forest's winding paths, illuminating her way and casting enchanting shadows. As she walked, she encountered a series of magical creatures, a mischievous fox with glowing eyes, a wise old owl who offered her cryptic advice, and a gentle deer that led her to a hidden waterfall. Each creature gave Mira a piece of advice, helping her understand that her journey was not just about finding the lantern's magic, but also about discovering her own inner light. The heart of the forest. After a long journey, Mira arrived at a serene glade bathed in moonlight. At the center of the glade stood a grand, ancient tree with a trunk that shimmered like stardust. The lantern's light grew brighter as she approached the tree, revealing a hidden door at its base. With a sense of awe, Mira opened the door and stepped inside a hidden chamber. The chamber was filled with the soft glow of countless lanterns, each one reflecting different colors and patterns. In the center of the room was a magnificent, radiant lantern, larger and more beautiful than anything Mira had ever seen. The lantern's secret. As Mira approached the lantern, a gentle voice filled the chamber. "Welcome, Mira. You have shown courage and kindness, and your heart has guided you here. This lantern holds the true magic of the Festival of Lights. It represents the light within each person, a reminder that the most powerful magic comes from within." The radiant lantern's glow enveloped Mira, and she felt a warm, comforting sensation. The chamber seemed to come alive with the light of countless lanterns, creating a breathtaking display of colors and patterns. The return. With a newfound understanding and a heart full of warmth, Mira returned to Luminera. The village was preparing for the Festival of Lights, and the lanterns were being set out to illuminate the night. As Mira arrived, she shared the story of her journey and the lessons she had learned. The villagers listened in awe and joined her in celebrating not just the festival, but the magic within each of them. The Festival of Lights that year was the most beautiful Luminera had ever seen. The lantern sparkled with a newfound brilliance, and the night sky was filled with the glow of hope and unity. Myra's story became a cherished tale in the village, a reminder of the light that resides in every heart. The legacy from that day on, the villagers of Luminera celebrated the Festival of Lights with even greater joy and appreciation. The lanterns were not just symbols of the festival, but of the inner light that each person carried. Mira continued to explore and share her wisdom, becoming a beloved figure in the village. And so, Luminera remained a place of magic and wonder, forever illuminated by the lanterns that reflected the true essence of its people. Once upon a time, in the kingdom of Luminera, there was a small village known for its radiant lanterns that glowed softly every evening, casting a warm light across the land. The lanterns were not just ordinary lights, they were believed to hold the magic of the kingdom's peace and prosperity. At the edge of the village lived a young girl named Mira. Myra's family was known for their skill in crafting lanterns, but lately, their lanterns had begun to lose their glow, and the village's prosperity had waned. Mira was determined to restore the lantern's magic and help her family. One evening, as Mira sat by the hearth, her grandmother told her an old legend. It was said that the original light of the lanterns came from the enchanted flame, a mystical fire that burned in the heart of the Whispering Mountains. To rekindle the lantern's magic, one needed to seek out this flame and bring a piece of it back. Mira decided to undertake the journey. She packed a small bag with essentials and set out the next morning, guided by the hope of restoring her village's light. The path to the Whispering Mountains was long and filled with challenges. The first challenge Mira faced was the Forest of Shadows. The forest was dark and filled with whispering shadows that could lead travelers astray. Mira was approached by a mischievous fox named Flick who offered to help her navigate the forest. "If you want my help," Flick said with a grin, "you must solve my riddle. I can fly without wings. I can cry without eyes. Whenever I go, darkness flies. What am I?" Mira thought for a moment and replied, "A cloud." Flick's eyes sparkled with delight, and he agreed to guide her through the forest. With Flick's help, Mira safely made it through the Forest of Shadows. Next, Mira arrived at the River of Reflections, a wide, shimmering river that mirrored not only the landscape but also her innermost fears and doubts. To cross the river, Mira had to confront her own worries about the journey and her ability to succeed. She took a deep breath and reminded herself of her village and her family's needs. With determination in her heart, she crossed the river using a small boat she found by the shore. After crossing the river, Mira reached the base of the Whispering Mountains. The final challenge was to climb the steep, rocky paths to reach the enchanted flame. As she climbed, she encountered a wise old mountain goat named Gora. To reach the heart of the mountain, Gora said, "You must prove your courage and perseverance. Here is the final test. What is the one thing you can hold without touching it, and that can fill a room without being seen?" Mira thought carefully and answered, "Hope." Gora nodded in approval and allowed her to continue up the mountain. With renewed determination, Mira climbed to the peak where she finally saw the enchanted flame, a brilliant, magical fire that danced with colors and light. She approached it with reverence and carefully collected a small ember in a specially prepared jar. As Mira descended the mountain, the ember of the enchanted flame glowed brightly, lighting her way. When she returned to the village, she carefully placed the ember into the heart of the largest lantern. As the ember touched the lantern's flame, a magical glow spread throughout the village, restoring the warmth and radiance of every lantern. The villagers rejoiced as their homes and streets were once again bathed in the comforting light of their lanterns. Prosperity returned to the village, and Myra's family was celebrated for their craftsmanship. Mira was hailed as a hero, and her bravery and determination were remembered as a beacon of hope. The enchanted flame continued to burn brightly in the lanterns, a lasting symbol of the village's unity and resilience. Myra's journey became a cherished tale in Luminera, inspiring others to seek out their own sources of light and hope in times of darkness. And so, the kingdom of Luminera thrived, its lanterns shining brightly with the magic of the enchanted flame, and its people lived happily ever after. In a quaint kingdom nestled between rolling hills and ancient forests, there was a small village named Eldoria. This village was renowned for its beauty, with its flower-filled meadows and crystal-clear streams. But the villagers knew of something even more special. Each night, a single star, the hidden star, would shine brightly in the sky, guiding lost travelers home. The star was said to hold magical powers, but no one knew its true origin. In this village lived a curious young boy named Leo. He had a mop of unruly hair and a heart full of adventure. Every evening, he would gaze up at the hidden star and dream of discovering its secrets. The villagers told tales of how the star had once been a guiding light for their ancestors, but its magic had faded over time. One autumn evening, when the moon was full and the air crisp, Leo decided that he would uncover the mystery of the hidden star. He packed a small bag with supplies, a loaf of bread, a flask of water, and a warm cloak, and set off towards the edge of the forest, where it was rumored the star's magic was strongest. As he ventured deeper into the woods, the trees grew taller and the shadows longer. The path became faint, but Leo pressed on, guided by the light of the hidden star. He walked until he reached a clearing with an enormous, ancient oak tree at its center. The tree's branches reached high into the sky, almost as if trying to touch the star itself. Leo rested beneath the oak, staring up at the star that seemed to twinkle more brightly than usual. Just as he was about to fall asleep, a gentle voice spoke from the tree. "You seek the hidden star, young one?" Startled, Leo looked around and saw a figure emerging from the oak, a wise old man with a long, silver beard and a robe that shimmered with the colors of the night sky. He was the Star Keeper, a guardian of the hidden star's magic. "Yes," Leo said, finding his voice. "I want to understand the star's secret and restore its magic to help our village." The Star Keeper's eyes twinkled with approval. "A noble quest indeed. But the star's magic lies not just in its light but in the heart of the one who seeks it." The Star Keeper extended his hand, and a small, glowing orb appeared. "This is the Heartstone. It holds the essence of the star's magic. To restore the star, you must place the Heartstone in the highest branch of this tree before the next dawn." Leo accepted the Heartstone, feeling its warmth in his hands. He climbed the ancient oak, carefully navigating the gnarled branches. As he neared the top, the wind picked up, making the task more challenging. But Leo's determination never wavered. He reached the highest branch and placed the Heartstone gently. As soon as the Heartstone touched the branch, the star's light intensified, sending a beam of pure silver light down to the clearing. The ancient oak began to shimmer, and the surrounding forest was bathed in a soft, magical glow. The Star Keeper appeared beside Leo. "You have done it, young Leo. You have restored the star's magic. Not only with the Heartstone but with your courage and pure heart." The light from the star grew brighter and brighter until it enveloped Leo in a warm embrace. He felt a sense of peace and fulfillment. The Star Keeper smiled. "The hidden star will now shine more brightly than ever, and its magic will guide and protect your village." As dawn approached, the star's light gradually faded, but the forest remained filled with a gentle, magical glow. Leo descended from the oak, his heart light and full of joy. He returned to Eldoria, where the villagers marveled at the renewed brilliance of the hidden star in the sky. From that day on, the hidden star shone with a radiance that lit up the night and brought hope to all who looked up. Leo's bravery and kindness became legendary, and the village thrived under the star's renewed magic. Every night, as the star's light danced across the sky, the villagers would remember the tale of the boy who restored the star's magic and the heart that made it all possible. The Starflower and the Dream Weaver. Once upon a time, in a kingdom far beyond the clouds, there was a magical land known as Celestia. Celestia was a realm of wondrous sights, fields of glittering stardust, skies that shimmered with colors unseen on Earth, and a magnificent castle built from moonlight and dreams. In this enchanting kingdom lived a young girl named Lyra. Lyra was known for her kindness and her extraordinary gift of crafting dreams. She was the Dream Weaver, responsible for weaving dreams for the people of Celestia, ensuring their nights were filled with wonder and joy. One day, Lyra discovered a troubling message in the threads of a dream she was weaving. A dark shadow was creeping into Celestia, threatening to snuff out the magic of dreams and bring darkness to the land. The only way to stop this dark shadow was to find the elusive Starflower, a legendary bloom said to hold the power to restore light and hope. The quest for the Starflower. Determined to protect her kingdom, Lyra set off on her quest to find the Starflower. The journey led her to the edge of Celestia, where the landscape transformed from fields of stardust to a mysterious, mist-covered forest known as the Twilight Woods. The Twilight Woods were known for their magical inhabitants and enchanted paths. As Lyra ventured into the forest, she encountered three magical beings: a shimmering dragonfly named Phelan, a wise old tortoise named Thaddeus, and a mischievous squirrel named Pippin. Each of them offered Lyra a clue about the Starflower's whereabouts. Phelan spoke of a hidden grove where the Starflower bloomed, Thaddeus advised her to follow the light of the moon, and Pippin warned her of the trap set by the forest's enchantments. The enchanted grove. Following the clues, Lyra journeyed deeper into the Twilight Woods. She navigated through the misty paths, guided by the moonlight and the sparkling trail left by Phelan. After a long and arduous trek, she finally arrived at the enchanted grove. The grove was bathed in a soft, silver glow, and at its center stood a majestic, ethereal flower with petals that shimmered like stars. This was the Starflower. As Lyra approached, she saw that its light was dimming, and the dark shadow she had seen in the dream thread seemed to be closing in on it. The dark shadow materialized before her. It was a formidable creature, a shadowy figure with eyes that glowed like embers. The shadow snarled, "The Starflower's magic belongs to the darkness now. You cannot save it." Lyra, though frightened, stood her ground. She remembered the wisdom of her friends and the importance of the Starflower to Celestia. Gathering her courage, she used her Dreamweaver powers to craft a dream of hope and light, weaving it into the air like a shimmering tapestry. The dream's light began to push back the darkness, and the Starflower's petals started to glow brighter. The dark shadow roared in frustration as the light grew stronger, dispelling the shadows that had threatened the grove. Restoring the light with the shadow vanquished, Lyra gently tended to the Starflower, using her magic to restore its full brilliance. The flower's light spread throughout the grove, banishing the last remnants of darkness and filling the air with a warm, comforting glow. Lyra carefully picked a single petal from the Starflower and held it close. The flower's light infused her with a sense of peace and renewed strength. She knew that this precious petal would help protect Celestia from future threats. Returning to Celestia, Lyra returned to Celestia, the Starflower's petal glowing brightly in her hand. The kingdom welcomed her with open arms, and the Dreamweaver's magic was restored. Celestia flourished once more, bathed in the light of the Starflower and the hope that Lyra had brought back. The tale of Lyra's bravery and the quest for the Starflower became a cherished legend in Celestia. The people celebrated their hero, and the light of the Starflower continued to shine brightly, a symbol of courage, hope, and the enduring magic of dreams. And so, the kingdom of Celestia thrived under the watchful glow of the Starflower, forever grateful to the Dreamweaver who had saved their land from darkness and ensured that their dreams would always be filled with light. In the heart of the Whispering Woods, where the trees seemed to tell secrets to those who listened closely, lay a quaint village named Willowbrook. The village was renowned for its serenity and charm, and its people lived in harmony with the forest. The villagers often spoke of a magical lantern that was said to grant a single wish each century to those who found it. The tale of the enchanted lantern had become legend, whispered around campfires and told to children as they drifted off to sleep. It was said that the lantern was hidden deep within the forest, protected by a series of challenges designed to test the heart and spirit of the seeker. One bright morning, a young girl named Amelia, with eyes as curious as the morning sun and a heart full of dreams, decided to seek out the legendary lantern. Her village had fallen on hard times, and Amelia wished to use the lantern's magic to bring prosperity and joy back to Willowbrook. With a backpack full of essentials and a heart full of determination, Amelia ventured into the Whispering Woods. As she walked, the trees seemed to part just for her, guiding her deeper into the forest. The first challenge she encountered was a babbling brook that flowed with sparkling, crystal-clear water. On the other side of the brook stood a wise old turtle named Thaddeus, who was known to be the guardian of the brook. Thaddeus spoke in a slow, deliberate manner. "To cross the brook, you must solve a riddle. Only then will the path appear." Amelia nodded and listened intently as Thaddeus recited the riddle. I can fly without wings. I can cry without eyes. Whenever I go, darkness flies. What am I? Amelia thought for a moment and then answered confidently, a cloud. Thaddeus smiled, and with a nod of approval, the water of the brook parted to reveal a stone path that led across. Amelia carefully made her way to the other side. As she continued her journey, Amelia reached the second challenge, a dense thicket of brambles and thorns, which seemed almost impassable. Standing at the entrance was a gentle deer named Elara, whose eyes shone with kindness. Elara spoke softly, "To pass through the thicket, you must show your compassion. There is a small bird trapped in the brambles. Free it, and the path will open." Amelia approached the thicket and found the tiny bird, its feathers entangled in the thorny branches. With great care and patience, Amelia freed the bird and gently placed it on her outstretched hand. The bird chirped gratefully before flying off, and as it did, the brambles parted to reveal a clear path. The final challenge took Amelia to a serene, moonlit clearing. In the center of the clearing was a beautiful, ancient oak tree with a hollow trunk. From within the hollow, a soft, melodic voice called out. The voice belonged to the Moonlight Fairy, who was the final guardian of the enchanted lantern. The Moonlight Fairy fluttered gracefully before Amelia and said, "To find the lantern, you must perform a task of the heart. Share with me your most heartfelt wish." Amelia took a deep breath and spoke sincerely, "My wish is to bring happiness and prosperity to my village, Willowbrook, so that everyone can live in peace and joy." The Moonlight Fairy's eyes sparkled with admiration. "A wish made from the heart is a powerful thing. Follow me." The fairy led Amelia to a hidden alcove behind the oak tree, where the enchanted lantern rested on a pedestal bathed in moonlight. The lantern was adorned with intricate designs and glowed with a soft, warm light. Amelia reached out and took the lantern gently in her hands. The Moonlight Fairy nodded. "You have proven yourself worthy of the lantern's magic. Make your wish, and it shall be granted." With a hopeful heart, Amelia whispered her wish into the lantern. The light within the lantern grew brighter and brighter until it enveloped the entire clearing. When the light finally faded, Amelia found herself back at the edge of the Whispering Woods. She returned to Willowbrook, and as she approached the village, she saw a wondrous transformation. The fields were lush with crops, the river sparkled with clear water, and the villagers greeted her with joyful smiles. The lantern's magic had indeed brought prosperity and happiness to Willowbrook. Amelia's bravery and pure-hearted wish became a cherished story in the village, and the enchanted lantern was placed in a special place of honor in the village square as a symbol of hope and the power of a kind heart. And so, Willowbrook thrived, and the legend of the enchanted lantern lived on, inspiring future generations to believe in the magic that lies within the power of a wish made from the heart. Once upon a time, in a quaint village nestled between rolling hills and a shimmering lake, there lived a young girl named Lila. Lila was known throughout the village for her extraordinary ability to listen to the stars. At night, when the sky was clear, she would sit by her window, gaze up at the twinkling stars, and whisper her dreams and wishes to them. One evening, as Lila sat under the starlit sky, she noticed a star twinkling more brightly than the others. It seemed to be beckoning her. With a heart full of curiosity and wonder, Lila decided to follow the star's light. She left her cozy cottage and ventured out into the night, guided by the star's shimmering path. The star led Lila through the forest, past ancient trees and over babbling brooks. After a long journey, she arrived at the edge of a mysterious, enchanted meadow bathed in moonlight. In the center of the meadow stood a magnificent, glowing tree, its branches adorned with golden leaves and silver flowers. As Lila approached the tree,
she noticed a small, delicate fairy fluttering near its base. The fairy had wings that sparkled like stardust and a smile as bright as the moon. She introduced herself as Seraphina, the guardian of the star tree. "Welcome, Lila," Seraphina said. "I have been waiting for you. This star has chosen you for a special mission." Lila's eyes widened with excitement. "What mission?" Seraphina explained that the star tree had been losing its light because the stars were losing their magic. The only way to restore their magic was to gather stardust from the farthest corners of the world and return it to the tree. I can help with that, Lila said, determined. But how will I find the stardust? Serafina handed Lila a silver vial and a small, ornate map. This map will guide you to the places where the stardust can be found. But be careful, for the journey will be filled with challenges and enchantments. With the vial and map in hand, Lila embarked on her quest. The map led her to 3 magical places where stardust was hidden: the Whispering Caves,
the Enchanted Falls, and the Crystal Caverns. At the Whispering Caves, Lila faced a riddle from a wise old owl who guarded the stardust. She solved the riddle with her cleverness and kindness, earning the owl's respect in the small jar of stardust. Next, at the Enchanted Falls, Lila had to prove her bravery by crossing a bridge made of shimmering light. The bridge wobbled and sparkled, but Lila walked with courage, reaching the other side to find another jar of stardust hidden behind a waterfall. Finally, in the Crystal Caverns, Lila navigated through a labyrinth of dazzling crystals. She used her wits and her ability to listen to the stars for guidance. In the heart of the cavern, she discovered the last jar of stardust nestled among the crystals. With all 3 jars filled with stardust, Lila returned to the star tree. Serafina greeted her with joy and guided her to the tree's base. Lila poured the stardust into a hollow within the tree, and a magnificent transformation occurred. The star tree's branches glowed with a renewed brilliance, and the stars in the sky shone even more brightly. Serafina thanked Lila for her bravery and determination. You have restored the magic of the stars and saved the star tree. As a token of our gratitude, we grant you the ability to visit the stars whenever you wish. From that night on, Lila could call upon the stars to guide her and bring their wisdom into her life. She returned to her village with stories of her adventure and shared her newfound wisdom with everyone. The village thrived under Lila's guidance, and the night sky became a source of inspiration and wonder for all. Lila's connection with the stars brought a sense of magic and unity to the village, and the star tree remained a symbol of hope and enchantment. And so, under the twinkling stars, Lila and her village lived happily ever after, always guided by the light of their dreams and the magic of the night sky. The end. In a charming kingdom where rolling hills met endless forests, there was a secluded place known as the Starlit Meadow. By day, it was a serene field of wildflowers, but by night, it transformed into a shimmering expanse under the glow of countless stars. The meadow was a source of wonder, for it was said that on rare occasions, the stars would descend and grant a wish to those who were pure of heart. In this kingdom lived a young girl named Lyra, who was known for her kindness and adventurous spirit. Lyra had always been fascinated by the tales of the Starlit Meadow. Each evening, she would gaze up at the night sky, dreaming of one day visiting the magical meadow and making a wish. One summer evening, as the full moon bathed the land in silver light, Lyra decided to venture to the Starlit Meadow. She packed a small satchel with essentials, a lantern, some bread, and a book of poems, and set off through the forest, guided by the gentle glow of fireflies. The path to the meadow was not well marked, and the forest grew darker as she journeyed deeper. Lyra felt a mix of excitement and trepidation. After a long trek, she finally reached the edge of the meadow. As she stepped into the open field, she marveled at the sight before her. The meadow was indeed aglow with thousands of twinkling lights, like a sea of stars had descended to the earth. Lyra found a comfortable spot under an old oak tree in the center of the meadow. She sat quietly, waiting for the stars to appear. As she did, she noticed a soft, melodious hum in the air. The sound was gentle and soothing, like a lullaby carried by the breeze. Suddenly, the stars began to shimmer more brightly, and a figure emerged from the celestial glow, a graceful fairy with wings that sparkled like stardust. Her name was Serafina, and she had a warm, welcoming smile. "Welcome to the Starlit Meadow," Serafina said in a voice like tinkling bells. "I am Serafina, the guardian of this magical place. The stars are here tonight because someone with a pure heart is present." Lyra's eyes widened in awe. "Is it true that I can make a wish?" Serafina nodded. Yes, but remember, the stars grant wishes not for personal gain, but for the greater good. Your wish must come from a place of selflessness. Lyra thought carefully. Her heart was full of dreams, but she knew that her wish should benefit others. After a moment's reflection, she spoke. I wish for the Starlit Meadows magic to spread throughout the kingdom, Lyra said. I want everyone to experience the wonder and joy that I feel here. Seraphina's eyes sparkled with approval. Your wish is a noble one. It shall be granted. With a wave of her hand, Seraphina scattered stardust across the meadow. The stardust glowed warmly, drifting gently through the air. As it touched the flowers and trees, they began to sparkle with the same magical light that filled the meadow. The next morning, when Lyra returned to the village, she was greeted with a remarkable sight. The enchantment of the Starlit Meadow had indeed spread throughout the kingdom. Flowers in the village square sparkled like stars, and the trees in the forest glowed with a soft, magical light. The people marveled at the transformation, their hearts filled with wonder and joy. Lyra's selfless wish had brought a touch of magic to everyone's lives. The village celebrated with a grand festival, where they shared stories, music, and laughter under the starry sky. The enchantment continued to spread, touching every corner of the kingdom and inspiring people to share their own kindness and dreams. From that day on, the kingdom thrived under the influence of the Starlit Meadows magic. The stars seemed brighter, the flowers more vibrant, and the people's spirits uplifted. Lyra's wish had not only fulfilled her dream but had also created a lasting legacy of joy and wonder for all. And so, the tale of the Starlit Meadow and the selfless wish became a cherished story, reminding everyone that true magic lies not only in wishing upon stars but in the kindness and selflessness we offer to others. Once upon a time, in a land of rolling hills and endless meadows, there was a peaceful village called Meadowbrook. Nestled in the heart of this village was an ancient oak tree known as the Wisdom Tree. This tree was said to hold the knowledge of the ages and granted guidance to those who sought it with a pure heart. In Meadowbrook lived a young boy named Finn, who was known for his boundless curiosity and his knack for helping others. Finn had a special bond with the animals of the village, and his best friend was a clever raccoon named Pip. One day, as Finn and Pip were playing near the Wisdom Tree, they noticed that its leaves were turning a sickly yellow, and its once strong branches drooped. The tree's magic seemed to be fading, and the village began to suffer as a result. Crops were failing, and the river that flowed through Meadowbrook had turned a murky brown. Finn knew that something had to be done. He approached the Wisdom Tree and asked, "What has happened to you? How can we help?" To Finn's surprise, the tree spoke in a gentle, rustling voice. "A dark spell has been cast upon me by the Shadow Sorcerer, who seeks to drain the land of its magic. To restore my strength, you must retrieve the heart of the forest, a magical gem hidden deep within the enchanted caverns. Only someone with true courage and a kind heart can succeed." Determined to save the Wisdom Tree in Meadowbrook, Finn and Pip set off on their quest. They journeyed through the enchanted forest, where the trees whispered ancient secrets and the path seemed to shift and change. Their first challenge was the trial of courage. They came across a deep, dark chasm with a rickety rope bridge swaying in the breeze. Pip, though frightened, offered encouragement. Finn took a deep breath and led the way across the bridge, step by step. The bridge creaked and swayed, but Finn's determination and Pip's support helped them cross safely. On the other side, they found the entrance to the enchanted caverns. As they entered, they faced the second challenge, the trial of wisdom. The cavern walls were lined with glowing crystals, and a giant stone guardian blocked their path. The guardian spoke in a deep voice, "To pass, answer this riddle. I have keys but open no locks. I have space but no room. You can enter, but you can't leave. What am I?" Finn thought carefully and then answered, "A piano." The stone guardian's eyes glowed with approval, and he stepped aside, allowing them to proceed. Deeper into the caverns, they encountered the final challenge, the trial of kindness. They found themselves in a chamber where a sorrowful spirit was trapped. The spirit had been cursed by the Shadow Sorcerer and was bound to guard the heart of the forest. Finn and Pip approached the spirit with empathy and kindness. Finn spoke gently, "We're here to help you and restore the magic. Can you guide us to the heart of the forest?" Moved by Finn's compassion, the spirit guided them to a hidden alcove where the heart of the forest lay. The gem was radiating a soft, golden light, but it was surrounded by a dark aura. Finn carefully picked up the gem, and as he did, the dark aura dissipated, revealing the gem's true brilliance. With the heart of the forest in hand, Finn and Pip returned to the wisdom tree. The tree's leaves began to turn vibrant green once more, and its branches reached towards the sky with renewed strength. The river cleared, and the crops began to flourish again. The villagers of Meadowbrook celebrated Finn and Pip's bravery with a grand feast. The wisdom tree, now restored, thanked them with a gentle rustling of its leaves. "You have saved the land and restored the balance of magic. Meadowbrook will forever be in your debt." Finn and Pip's adventure became a beloved tale in Meadowbrook, a reminder of the power of courage, wisdom, and kindness. The village continued to thrive, and the bond between Finn and Pip grew stronger with each passing day. And so, the land of Meadowbrook flourished once more, forever touched by the heroism of a brave boy and his clever raccoon friend. The end. Once upon a time, in the magical land of Eldoria, there was a village nestled at the edge of the Whispering Forest. This forest was known for its towering trees, shimmering leaves, and the enchanting whispers of its inhabitants. Eldoria was a peaceful place, but its beauty was overshadowed by an old legend, a tale of a mystical flower that bloomed only once every century under the full moon. This flower, known as the moonflower, was said to possess the power to grant a single wish. However, it was guarded by a mysterious enchantment, and many had tried and failed to find it. In this village lived a brave and kind-hearted girl named Lyra. She had always been fascinated by the forest's magic and the legend of the moonflower. One crisp autumn evening, as the full moon cast its silver glow over Eldoria, Lyra decided to seek out the moonflower. She wanted to use its magic to protect the forest and ensure that its beauty would never fade. With a satchel of supplies, a lantern, and a heart full of hope, Lyra ventured into the Whispering Forest. The trees seemed to sway with anticipation, their leaves rustling like hushed whispers. As she walked deeper into the forest, she noticed that the moonlight was growing brighter and more intense. Soon, Lyra reached a clearing where the moonlight created a shimmering pool of light on the forest floor. At the center of this light was a grand oak tree, its bark glowing softly. At the base of the tree was a small, ornate door, partially hidden by ivy. Before she could approach the door, a soft, melodious voice spoke from above. "Greetings, brave one. I am Elowen, the guardian of the moonflower." Lyra looked up to see a graceful fairy with wings that sparkled like stardust. "I seek the moonflower to protect the Whispering Forest," Lyra said with determination. Elowen fluttered down and landed beside Lyra. "To gain access to the moonflower, you must first prove your worth through 3 trials. Each trial will test your courage, wisdom, and kindness." The first trial awaited Lyra at the base of the grand oak tree. The small door creaked open to reveal a maze of shimmering light. At the center of the maze was a riddle inscribed on a stone tablet: "I speak without a mouth and hear without ears. I have no body, but I come alive with wind. What am I?" Lyra pondered the riddle, remembering the tales her grandmother had told her about the forest's magical secrets. She thought of the gentle sounds that the wind made through the trees. "An echo," she answered confidently. The maze's walls shifted and revealed a path, leading her to the next trial. This trial took place by a stream where the waters glowed with a soft, green light. A wise old turtle named Tiberius was waiting for her. "To pass, you must show your compassion," Tiberius said. "This stream is guarded by a spell that turns away anyone who is selfish. Help me with this task, and you may proceed." Tiberius explained that the stream's magical waters had become polluted with dark, enchanted sludge. Lyra used her lantern and hands to carefully filter the sludge from the stream, working diligently and with great care. As she worked, the waters began to clear, and the stream sparkled once more. Your kindness and hard work have restored the stream's magic, Tiberius said, bowing in gratitude. You may continue. Lyra followed the path further into the forest until she reached a glade bathed in moonlight. At the center of the glade was a magnificent tree, its branches stretching out like the arms of a guardian. The moonflower was nestled among the branches, glowing with a soft, silver light. As Lyra approached, a soft wind rustled through the leaves, and the moonflower's light began to wane. The final trial had begun. Eloan appeared once more and spoke. To complete the trials and claim the moonflower, you must make a wish that reflects the true spirit of the forest. Lyra took a deep breath and closed her eyes, thinking of the whispering forest and its beauty. I wish for the forest to remain a place of magic and wonder for all who visit. I wish for its beauty to be preserved and for its magic to continue to inspire and protect. As Lyra spoke her wish, the moonflower's light intensified, filling the glade with a radiant glow. The enchantment of the forest was renewed, and the magic of the moonflower spread throughout the whispering forest. Eloan smiled and said, "Your wish has been granted, brave one. The whispering forest will thrive, and its magic will be protected for generations to come." Lyra returned to Eldoria with a heart full of joy, knowing that the forest she loved was safe and magical. The villagers celebrated her bravery and kindness, and the whispering forest continued to enchant all who entered its bounds. And so, the legend of the Moonflower became a cherished story in Eldoria, a reminder of the power of courage, wisdom, and the selfless heart that saved the forest's magic. And they all lived happily ever after. Once upon a time, in a small village nestled at the foot of a grand mountain, there lived a kind girl named Elara. Elara was known throughout the village for her gentle heart and her bright smile. She loved helping others, especially the elderly and the children, and always found joy in the simplest things, like the song of a bird or the sight of a rainbow after the rain. But despite her happy nature, Elara had one deep wish in her heart. She wished to bring her village more prosperity. The villagers worked hard every day, but the harvests were often meager, and the winters were harsh. Elara dreamed of a day when no one would go hungry, and everyone could live comfortably. One day, while wandering through the woods on the edge of the village, Elara discovered an old well. The well was hidden under a thick cover of ivy, and its stones were worn and covered in moss. As Elara approached the well, she felt a strange but gentle warmth radiating from it. Curious, she leaned over the edge and looked down into the darkness. To her surprise, she heard a soft, melodious voice echoing from the depths of the well. "Who comes to the wishful well?" the voice asked, gentle and kind. Startled, Elara stepped back, but her curiosity quickly overcame her fear. "My name is Elara," she replied, her voice steady. "I didn't know this was a wishing well." The voice chuckled softly. "Not just any wishing well, dear Elara. I am the guardian of wishes, and I can grant one true wish to those with a pure heart." Elara's eyes widened in amazement. She had heard of magical wells in stories, but she never thought she would find one herself. She thought carefully about what she wanted most and decided that this was her chance to help her village. "I wish for my village to be prosperous," Elara said earnestly. "I want everyone to have enough food, warmth, and happiness." The well was silent for a moment, as if considering her wish. Then the voice spoke again, this time with a note of approval. "Your wish is selfless and kind, Elara. But to grant it, you must first complete a task. The magic that can bring prosperity to your village is hidden within the heart of the mountain. You must climb the mountain and find the crystal of abundance. Only then will your wish come true." Elara nodded, determination shining in her eyes. "I will do it," she said. "For my village, I will climb the mountain and find the crystal." The voice of the well faded, and Elara knew it was time to begin her journey. Without wasting any time, she set off toward the mountain, her heart filled with hope. The path up the mountain was steep and challenging, but Elara was strong and determined. She climbed higher and higher, through dense forests and rocky slopes, until she reached a high plateau where the air was crisp and cold. As Elara continued her ascent, she encountered her first obstacle. A deep chasm blocked her path, and there was no bridge or way around it. Elara stood at the edge, looking down into the abyss, wondering how she would cross. Suddenly, a large, golden eagle appeared and landed beside her. The eagle was majestic, with bright eyes that sparkled with wisdom. "You are brave to come this far," the eagle said in a deep, reassuring voice. "I am the guardian of courage. To cross this chasm, you must trust in yourself and take a leap of faith." Elara looked at the eagle, then at the chasm. It seemed impossible, but she knew she had to try. With a deep breath, she stepped back, ran forward, and leaped into the air. To her astonishment, the air beneath her seemed to solidify, creating an invisible bridge. Elara landed safely on the other side, her heart pounding with relief. "Well done, Elara," the eagle called from across the chasm. "Your courage has carried you far. Continue your journey with the same bravery." Elara thanked the eagle and continued up the mountain. Soon, she reached a dense, dark forest where the trees were so tall and thick that they blocked out the sunlight. As she made her way through the forest, she began to feel doubt creeping into her heart. The path was confusing, and every turn seemed to lead to a dead end. It was then that she heard a soft, rustling sound. A small, silver fox appeared, its fur shimmering in the dim light of the forest. "Hello, Elara," the fox said with a gentle voice. "I am the guardian of wisdom. The path you seek is hidden, but if you trust your instincts and look within, you will find your way." Elara closed her eyes and took a deep breath, calming her mind. She let go of her doubts and fears and focused on the warmth in her heart, the same warmth she felt when she helped others. When she opened her eyes, the path through the forest became clear, as if the trees themselves were guiding her. The silver fox nodded in approval. "You have found the wisdom within you. Follow this path, and you will reach your destination." Elara thanked the fox and continued on, her steps now sure and confident. After many hours of walking, she finally reached the peak of the mountain. There, in a small cave, she found the crystal of abundance. The crystal was large and beautiful, glowing with a soft, golden light that filled the cave with warmth. Elara carefully picked up the crystal, feeling its magic flow through her. As she held it, she knew that this crystal would bring prosperity to her village, just as she had wished. With the crystal in hand, Elara made her way back down the mountain. The journey was long, but she was no longer afraid or uncertain. She had faced her challenges with courage and wisdom, and now she was returning with the gift that would change her village forever. When Elara reached the village, she placed the crystal of abundance at the center of the town square. Immediately, the crystal began to glow brightly, and its light spread throughout the village. The crops in the fields grew tall and healthy, the wells filled with fresh, clean water, and the air was filled with the scent of blooming flowers. The villagers, who had gathered around to watch, cheered with joy and amazement. From that day on, Elara's village prospered. No one went hungry, and the winters were no longer harsh. The villagers lived happily, knowing that their lives had been touched by magic. Elara never forgot the lessons she had learned on her journey up the mountain. She knew that courage, wisdom, and a kind heart could overcome any challenge. And every time she looked at the crystal of abundance, she was reminded of the day she made her wish come true. As for the wishful well, it remained hidden in the woods, waiting for the next pure-hearted soul to find it and embark on a journey of their own. The end. Once upon a time, in the heart of the Valley of Echoes, there was a mystical kingdom known as Eldoria. Eldoria was a land of enchanting forests, shimmering lakes, and majestic mountains. The kingdom was ruled by a kind and wise queen named Seraphina, who was beloved by all for her compassion and fairness. One day, while wandering through the royal garden, Queen Seraphina discovered an old, ornate chest half buried beneath a rosebush. The chest was covered in intricate carvings of mythical creatures and symbols. At its center was a keyhole, but no key was to be found. Intrigued, Queen Seraphina summoned her trusted advisor, the sage Eldrin. Eldrin, with his long silver beard and wise eyes, examined the chest carefully. "This chest is said to hold a great secret," he explained. It is rumored that the chest contains a powerful artifact, but its key has been lost for centuries. The queen's curiosity was piqued. If the key is lost, how can we unlock it? She asked. Eldrin nodded thoughtfully. There is an ancient legend that speaks of a silver key, which is said to reveal itself only to a person of pure heart. Determined to unlock the chest and uncover its secret, Queen Seraphina decided to embark on a quest to find the silver key. She set out with a small band of loyal companions, Leora, the brave knight, Finn, the clever young scholar, and Thistle, a mischievous but wise fairy. Their journey took them through the enchanted forest, across the whispering river, and up the misty peaks. Each step of their journey was filled with challenges and wonders. They encountered talking animals, solved riddles posed by ancient guardians, and navigated through magical illusions. One evening, as they camped beneath the stars, Thistle fluttered about excitedly. "I feel something magical nearby," she said. "Let's explore this glade." The group followed Thistle into a moonlit clearing where a majestic tree stood. Its branches were adorned with glowing silver leaves. At the base of the tree, nestled in a bed of soft moss, lay a small, silver key. Queen Seraphina's heart raced with excitement as she picked up the key. It was intricately designed, with delicate engravings that shimmered in the moonlight. They returned to the royal garden with the key, eager to unlock the chest. As the key turned in the lock, the chest creaked open, revealing a beautiful, radiant crystal inside. The crystal emitted a warm, soothing light that bathed the room in a golden glow. The crystal was the Heart of Eldoria, a legendary artifact said to have the power to bring harmony and prosperity to the kingdom. With the Heart of Eldoria in hand, Queen Seraphina and her companions returned to the palace. The crystal's light spread throughout the kingdom, bringing renewed energy and joy to the people of Eldoria. Crops flourished, the rivers sparkled with clarity, and the skies were always clear and bright. The queen held a grand celebration in honor of the hero's return. The kingdom rejoiced in the newfound prosperity and peace. Queen Seraphina praised her companions, acknowledging their courage, wisdom, and loyalty. Though the silver key led us to the Heart of Eldoria, it was the strength of our hearts and the purity of our intentions that truly unlocked its magic, she said. The people of Eldoria continued to thrive under the queen's wise rule, and the Heart of Eldoria remained a symbol of hope and unity. Queen Seraphina, Leora, Finn, and Thistle became legends in their own right, their story passed down through generations as a reminder of the power of kindness, bravery, and friendship. And so, in the land of Eldoria, where magic and harmony flourished, they all lived happily ever after. In a land where the golden sun kissed the rolling hills and the emerald forests, there was a small village named Everwood. The village was known for its tranquil beauty and the magical grove that lay just beyond its borders. The grove was said to be enchanted, filled with ancient trees that whispered secrets of the past and a hidden glen where a mysterious melody could be heard on the wind. Every year, the villagers celebrated the Festival of Lights, a joyous event that honored the grove and its magic. However, one year, as the festival approached, an unsettling silence fell over Everwood. The grove's melody had vanished, and with it, the villagers' joy seemed to dim. Among the villagers was a young girl named Elara. Curious and brave, Elara had always been fascinated by the grove's legend. With her heart set on restoring the grove's magic, she decided to venture into the grove to uncover the source of the silence. One misty morning, Elara set out with a small satchel, a lantern, and a locket her grandmother had given her. The locket was rumored to hold a secret, but its purpose had long been forgotten. She walked through the village, past the cobblestone paths, and reached the edge of the enchanted grove. The grove's entrance was marked by two ancient oak trees whose branches intertwined like a protective embrace. As Elara stepped into the grove, the air seemed to shimmer with a faint glow. The trees, usually so full of life, now stood still as statues, their leaves motionless. Elara followed a winding path deeper into the grove. She could feel the weight of the silence pressing upon her. After some time, she reached the hidden glen where the melody was once heard. There, in the center of the glen, was an old stone fountain covered in moss. At its base was an inscription in an ancient language. Elara took out her grandmother's locket and noticed that it had a tiny keyhole. To her surprise, the inscription on the fountain matched the locket's design. With trembling hands, she inserted the locket into the keyhole. There was a soft click, and the fountain began to glow with a warm, golden light. Suddenly, the grove came to life. The tree's branches swayed, and the leaves rustled with a soft, melodic tune. The air filled with the beautiful music that had been missing for so long. Elara looked around in awe as the grove's enchantment was restored. As the melody reached its crescendo, a figure emerged from the light. It was a spirit of the grove, an ethereal being with wings of shimmering leaves. The spirit smiled at Elara, who felt a surge of warmth and relief. "You have restored the magic of the grove," the spirit said with a voice like a gentle breeze. "Long ago, the song was hidden away to protect it from those who would misuse it. But your pure heart and bravery have brought it back." Elara, humbled and grateful, asked, "Why was the song hidden?" The spirit explained, "The song holds the essence of the grove's magic, a power that can bring harmony and joy. But when darkness threatened the land, it was hidden to keep it safe. It was only through someone with a true spirit of kindness that the song could be awakened." With a soft gesture, the spirit gifted Elara a small vial of the golden light. "This is a piece of the grove's magic. Use it wisely, and remember that the true power of magic lies in the heart." Elara thanked the spirit and made her way back to the village, where the festival preparations were in full swing. She carried the vial with care, knowing that its magic was a reminder of the grove's return. The Festival of Lights that year was the most spectacular Everwood had ever seen. The grove's melody filled the air, and the villagers danced with joy, their hearts uplifted by the enchanted music. Elara's bravery and kindness were celebrated, and the grove's magic became a cherished part of their lives once more. And so, the enchanted grove continued to thrive, its melody a symbol of hope and harmony. Elara's story was told for generations, reminding everyone that even in times of silence, the magic of the heart could restore the world's wonder.